I don't go for junior mints. I go for man mints. Cool. They're just giant.
Well, you're an ensign. As an ensign, I think it's your duty to finish the junior mint. The senior mint.
Now, who brought dice tonight?
I unfortunately did not.
Hey, Steve, why don't you, take 3 days and go figure out how to use a phaser? Yours has been in the holster backwards for a month, and I've only just now had the courage to tell you.
It's because I keep shooting the people behind him.
Yeah.
You really do not like Bajorans.
They're called Bjorans.
I think
You say that
I think I would know.
And later, I'm going to go yogging. It's a soft J.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the USS Horizon. In the final episode of Star Trek Adventures, the crew of the Horizon find themselves running out of time and rushing to Deep Space Nine for answers. Is the orb of the prophets authentic? Is the story of these Bantakan Bajorans real? And what has really been going on for the last 2 years in the Shackleton Expanse? They're running out of time, and if they can't find all the answers before the hour is out, ooh, bad stuff's gonna happen. They're gonna have to put their heads together and work as a team. This is the final episode of Star Trek Adventures. And your crew of the USS Horizon, the finest officers in Starfleet, they are your terrible warriors. Welcome, terrible listeners! I am your game master for this final episode of Star Trek Adventures, Justin Ecock. We, the crew of the USS Horizon, are hurtling towards our finale. We might do more games after this, but this episode will come to an end at the end of this episode. So this story, one way or another, I'm not doing more of it. So
Okay.
Here we are. I've got my crew of the Horizon.
I'm very sad about it.
We might return to the people, but I don't want to return. This story's got an ending, and I want to reach this ending. I'm really excited about
it. Okay, fuck you. We're moving on.
You're all dead. You all get vented into space. That's a cue to snap his fingers, and air doesn't mean anything anymore.
Damn that trapdoor.
All your lungs are on your outside.
God damn it.
So it's a Tuesday.
We're here on the ship. We'll give you a quick recap because, of course, this show is being broadcast in front of a live virtual audience on Discord. If you're a Patreon supporter of any amount, you can get access to our Discord. So anyone can get access to Discord, but any Patreon supporter on Discord gets additional permissions to listen in on our studio channel where we record our games. So we've got a group of people listening in, so we'll use that as an excuse on why we're going to do a recap on where we are into our finale episode. So anyways, before we do that, I'm Justin, but who are you? We have, sitting around my table at my left, your right,
Velvet Duke as Science Officer Lieutenant Lassabo.
I am Conal MacBeth, better known in the geek community as Toronto's greatest supervillain and evil genius, Dr. Terawatt, as Captain Gavin Schofield.
I'm Brent the Closet Geek Morris, and I'm playing Tactical Officer Steve Armstrong.
Helmsman. You're the helmsman. Tactical.
It says tactical and...
Did I write... Oh, you know what? Because I was working out our support characters with Stephen Prince, and I wrote down Tactical Officer, and it must have just been a copy and paste. Oops. But yeah, no, you're our helmsman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're the helms guy.
Yeah, because you're on the command track. You're a red
Who's
shirt.
driving this thing?
You are driving this thing.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
At full speed.
Meanwhile, in engineering...
I'm Batman. No, I'm Lieutenant Commander Adam Monroe, Chief Engineer, played by Steve Saylor, a.k.a. the Blind Gamer.
So I feel a little bit more loose now since the last... I was real nervous last time we were playing this game. I didn't know what the rules were. And now I've... actually play testing this. I maybe should have done that before we recorded live on tape.
Tight like a drum.
So I've gone through a bit more of the rules. We did a briefing before this episode. If you were a Patreon supporter, you'd be able to listen on it. Where I've given everyone sort of like a rundown, like here's how maybe we should play this game. So
he used that voice too. It was very good.
Yeah,
hey you guys.
It got a bit annoying after a while.
It's very charming.
Before we start, let's start this like a regular episode here. We got our opening music that plays, the Horizon doing its like montage through planets and nebula and whatever, and Star Trek Horizon or whatever the hell we're calling the show is comes around, and then we come in. Outside is the name of the episode. We're actually going Deep Space Deadline. It shows up in blue font, and we start with the captain.
Justin has written out
I've written a thing
an
for you.
essay for me to
It's
read.
an essay. It's
a small
one
speech
half
to
of a
catch you up
page.
on what's going on.
It's double spaced.
It's a full page. Captain's log. I'm a commander though. Whatever. Commander's log. Stardate
You're the captain of the ship.
48626.5. The Horizon is en route to Deep Space Nine, traveling at maximum warp to deliver what appears to be a damaged and deteriorating orb of the Prophets. As unlikely as that sounds, the discovery of what appears to be an offshoot race of the Bajorans. I keep wanting to say that as a soft J, like Bajorans. But
Bjorn.
They apparently take tremendous offense to that, who call themselves Bantakans, seem to lend credibility to the authenticity of this orb of revelations. Also on board are the survivors of the destroyed Klingon vessel Drakthar, who first found the orb on the planet's surface and began experimenting with it, like they do. Klingons, known for their science.
Well, they're known for bashing things into other things.
Known for their science.
Isn't
The
that just what
Klingon
science
Defense
is?
Force has been notified and have sent the IKS Teklir to rendezvous with us at Deep Space Nine. I'm sure that will ruffle absolutely zero feathers.
It's not the first time Klingon ships show up to Deep Space Nine all the time.
No, I know,
They're not at
but I'm
war.
sure they're not upset about the destruction of one of their ships at all, and they're not going to
Happens all the time.
put their orc space boots in all over my fucking ship.
They're more like space dwarves these days.
These days. The Bantakans claim to be protectors of the orb who used information shared with them directly from the Prophets to construct spacefaring vessels before written language had been invented on Earth. I remain skeptical, of course, use of that word, very liberal. There is no record that a 10th orb ever existed, and why would the wormhole aliens offer technology to a small group of monks millennia ago? ? There are no reports
Man, I
on
should've
other
emailed this to you. I actually
Federation
did've read it.
encounters with them that suggest this is normal behavior. Further, why did the signals from the HR-626 system only show up on sensor probes 2 years ago, if they claimed to be there for a significantly longer period of time? The Horizon will arrive at Deep Space Nine in 6 days. We have until then to find the answers we need. Firstly, is this truly an authentic orb or an elaborate ruse? Second, who are these Bantakans, and where did they really come from? Third, where's my coffee?
in comes Ensign Armstrong. Here you are, sir. Like the yeoman of days of old.
Double what you want, right, sir?
I should have made you yeoman.
And I do the fucking the was it from Zoolander? Just like take a sip and just be like, oh, and then throw it on him.
You got little
awful.
model ships around your ready room. How can people get into the ship if it's this size?
What is this, a ship for ants? Anyway, I fear that if we don't learn the truth of the situation we have found ourselves in, that the stability of the Federation and its alliances may be tested to a breaking point.
Okay, so, thank you for reading that, so I didn't have to do all the reading myself.
Much love, Captain Scope.
You are currently heading at maximum warp
Hugs and
towards
kisses.
Deep Space Nine because you got to book it from one end of the Federation territory to the other because the Shackleton Expanse was literally on the far side of the territory from where Deep Space Nine is.
Oh, yeah.
But this orb is literally disintegrating, if we remember last time, and whatever it did to the Klingon ship may pose a threat to the Horizon. So you've got it in shielding right now, and you have 6 days. Now, in the rules of this game, that's called, now we're in an extended task. And I'm saying that each roll of the die is going to spend a certain amount of time. If you have 6 days, I'm going to break up each day into intervals. Each roll of the die is going to take up 2 intervals, which will take up half of an entire day. And if you want to do it more quickly, you can buy with threat or spend with momentum that you may earn with rolls to act in like a quarter day instead of a half day. Which means I'm going to keep track here of everyone's moves because you've only got, really, if you don't do any bonuses, a maximum of 12 rolls to find out the answers before you arrive at Deep Space Nine. We've got a bit of a deadline here because we can't stop and figure things out because this thing's falling apart. We need to, the Bantakans are assuring you that this can be repaired if we bring it to the Celestial Temple. This orb can be fixed by the Prophets, but we have to bring it to them.
Which is at the wormhole.
Which is in the wormhole.
It
The
is.
Celestial Temple is the wormhole. It's the same place. They have
So
claimed,
we
as
just-
we talked, they claim to be an offshoot race of the Bajorans that left millennia ago.
I have so many questions, though. Like, what if we were flying through the wormhole? Do we just eject it out and just hope?
Deep Space Nine's science division is waiting to pick you up. They have runabouts. They have shuttlecrafts. I mean, we don't have. Those are good questions to ask, Captain, because we don't have a plan right now.
Yeah.
Right now, we have it in shielding in a laboratory bay. We don't even know what this thing is. They claim it's an orb, but only 9 are recorded in Bajoran history records.
Yeah.
There's no record of a 10th. There's no record of a secret group of monks who got knowledge from a secret orb that then gave them technology thousands of years ahead of the rest of their culture, and then they left the planet for parts unknown and have been hiding out on a moon near a neutron star at the Klingon border. Like, it's a crazy story. Yet, on your ship, you have a dozen Bajorans who claim to be Bentakans, and you have what looks to be an orb of the Prophet that's disintegrating around you, throwing off crazy amounts of radiation. So
have the Vedics on Bajor been contacted?
Well, that's up to the captain. If you want to be contacting Starfleet Command, you want to be sending word ahead to Deep Space Nine. I mean, the Klingons know you're on the way, so I'm assuming that kind of information's been tossed around. But you're light years away from getting real time communication with Bajor. You're kind of on your own until you arrive at Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
So there's no way of getting information from them.
I'm not going to drive my ship from one side of the space, all of space, to the other side of all of space without telling somebody. Where I'm not just going to go flying past the outpost like, yeah, nothing, and then just go. Like.
And we did say at Narendra Station that we would send a message.
We let them know that what happened, what's going on, and where we're going very quickly.
Now, we've done a bit of a time skip. Maybe a day or two has passed. On your ship, you still have the 10 survivors of the Drakthar. I'm going to say they're on like deck 15. You're just keeping them there. Do they know that the people that blew up the ship are on board? I'll let you figure that part out. They're not in a good mood. They don't like what happened to their ship. They just want to get handed over to their superiors and get away from here.
Do we have a Worf here? Because I know that Worf you told me was actually a very special case.
You don't have any other Klingons on board. Yeah, you're going to be on your own if you want to deal with them. However, they did spend a certain number of days with this thing before they became incapacitated when you found them. So there might be information to learn from them as well. Use that to what you want.
EMH.
You want to start your investigation
in front of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
What you have in front of you here are 2 real questions that you might want to think about asking: is what is this orb, and who are these Bentakans? Because as we figured out in the last episode, some of the descriptions don't add up. The signal that was detected on those probes only showed up a few years ago. They say they've been here for thousands of years. So that doesn't. What happened? Why now is that signal being sent? And on top of it, to paint what's happened here on the ship, to just set up your first bit of time here, the Bentakans have taken to guarding the laboratory where the orb is. This is their relic, their item, they behave in an atheistic way, but also hold on to all these religious
It is their
holdings.
sacred charge.
They understand that the prophets are aliens, non-linear, but they still seem to revere them in the same way that Bajorans revere the prophets as gods. So this sacred item of theirs, they're going to get. They don't want anything invasive being done to them. They just want it repaired. They want it sent into.
They're refusing any deep scans.
So they're an immediate complication over getting hands on. You can do scans, and anything more than that, you're going to have to interact with them.
Okay, so we can scan it, but we're not allowed to interact with the orb without.
You've got it on the ship, so you can use certain built-in scanners. But if you want to do anything invasive, exactly, you got them to get past. You also have on top of that. The deteriorating orb is still destabilizing itself from when you found it on the Klingon ship. It's flaking away, and it's starting to give off in the last 24 hours. Those energy signals are they're sending off like quantum particle radiation. It's like something's building, and
oh no,
there's no way to know what's happening here. So there's so this thing is broken. You don't know what the Klingons did to it. You don't know what it's supposed to normally be doing, but the Bentakans are convinced this thing is breaking.
Flush it down the space toilet.
So the last bit here is Captain Schofield. Yeah. Your CMO, Dr. Rempel, has sent word up to you saying the Bantakans are refusing medical scans since they've been brought on ship. It's standard protocol to do medical scans on any visitors. The Klingons have admitted to that. The Bantakans are refusing. They're saying cultural differences. They won't submit to scans.
Cultural differences. Well, at least it's not religious. No offense. I understand I said that looking straight at you, Bo.
You look right in my eye.
Yeah.
So as
you were
I
looking
said,
right at me the whole time.
every time. Now, what we missed in the last episodes is every time you're rolling dice outside of a combat scene, which is most of this game, you are rolling to create advantages, or in the case you can work towards studying this orb. And I have it down here as it's called a work track, and I'll be marking it down here for you. It has a certain level of difficulty. In this case, it's a difficulty of 2, which means you need to have more successes than the difficulty has in order for it to count towards anything. So you're going to have to roll like a minimum of 3 die instead of your usual 2. And a magnitude of 2, which means you need to get... The work track is 10, which is 10 successes. The magnitude is 2, which means you need to get 2 breakthroughs to learn everything you need about it. A breakthrough can be found by just doing the hard work and getting all 10, or by getting your critical advantages on a dice. That creates an automatic breakthrough. But along the way, if you do scans and things fail, I'll be rolling the 6-sided die here, the effect die, to see if things get triggered.
Affected.
Right.
Yes, and I've got a number of things written down here too.
I think we like need to have a briefing.
You can absolutely have a briefing.
All right,
You
so
have
let's-
so you have
We're in the
6 days
conference
to
room.
arrive
Let's
at
have
the
a-
baseline.
Let's have a briefing.
You got all this
I
going
call you
on.
guys into your into the conference room and open the conference with, "What the fuck?" Okay,
Right?
so all right, so
I have a fear. This orb, why are we sending this deteriorating orb into one of the greatest scientific discoveries, of within the past decade, even few decades, that literally connects us to the Gamma Quadrant?
Yeah.
And we're just about to send a deteriorating
If I can
thing
put
into
in,
that.
I don't think
Yeah.
anyone is suggesting that so much as the orbs are important to the Bajoran people, and all the experts who know everything about them are on Deep Space Nine.
yeah.
So it doesn't have to go into the wormhole, but that's the best place.
But
if you're
that's
gonna
what the
learn something.
Bentakans
get into
are
the hands of-
But that's
requesting.
what the Bentakans are requesting.
Yeah.
The
That's why I'm bringing it up.
Bantakans are saying that we should just throw it into the wormhole.
I feel like it's
All right,
the moment
well-
we do, it's like
And it's starting to
Wormhole
fall
cut off.
apart, and it's not just falling apart, it's getting worse.
yeah.
On top of that, I would like to find out, if someone can, what the Klingons were doing. You said that you wanted to head this particular thing, Bo. You wanted to go figure out what the fuck they did to it on board their ship that led to the catastrophe that was their science facility.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that I have the best chance of talking to them, but also I need to know. I need to know if this really is an orb. I believe it is, but belief isn't enough.
I feel that. Ensign Armstrong, do you want to join him?
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like there's a lot you can learn from that situation.
I would like to run a ton of deep scans on this thing and figure out what is actually happening to this. Why is it deteriorating?
All right, so to do that, though, unfortunately, we can run deep scans, but to do anything more invasive, we're going to have to get past the Bantakans, who themselves have not submitted to a medical examination. Now that they're on board our ship.
It's our ship. Couldn't you just isolate them and?
Well, if I do, I'm going to be isolating them in a way. If it's not in and around the orb where I isolate them, they're going to be very upset. And for all we know, they could be carrying turbo space aids on board our ship here. So we need to figure that out.
Are they confined to quarters, or are they just with
No, they're guarding.
They're currently in the lab.
Why did we let them guard the lab?
So there's a dozen of them.
Steve's watching.
They're on.
right.
They're taking shifts. So there's always like a 24-hour guard. Their leader is Haas, as we remember from the last time, named after Hastings. So
Right.
it was Haas is their sort of de facto leader, or at least their spokesperson. You haven't learned the rest of their names, but they're all individuals. But they've been keeping to themselves. They haven't been talking to many people. They're not going to the mess hall. They go to their quarters. They stand at the door. And it's only been a day. But
I feel
that's what
like
they're
I
doing.
can talk to them because, as you guys know, I'm from Proxima, and we consider ourselves a little bit independent. Sorry, Captain. but they're not Bajoran like Bo. They consider themselves something else. So maybe I can find something in common with them.
Find some common ground with Haas and his crew.
And I think I would like to be able to, engineer reverse engineer our like deep space scanners, and just focus it on the orb itself.
You're gonna reverse the polarity.
Yeah, so that way we don't have to, exactly. I don't have to get close to it. I just just allow us to it should increase our scanning capability.
So you're going to turn the deep space scanners inwards on
take the external sensor array and turn it into increase the resolution inside the science
using
lab.
the deflector dish and being able to internal. Yeah.
Oh, you're going to use the deflector dish? No shit.
Oh yeah. I've always wanted to try it.
Well,
we also do have
huge. It's just sitting out there. We're not using it. Why don't we?
We also have the fragments.
Okay,
that
now
were
obviously
brought up
something like that's going
around,
to take some time.
which are with the
engineer.
language.
Yeah.
So
That is
I'll
correct.
be
We
keeping
have,
track of your successes on
tablets and the
making that
plates.
advantage.
There.
All right, so we want to be as... I'll tell you what. All right, so you work on getting the deep scan done because we're allowed to scan. Nothing more invasive than that. So work on that deep scan.
Okay.
You two go talk to the Klingons and try to figure out what the fuck they're up to. I am going to go have a discussion with Haas and see if they will, at minimum, submit themselves for medical examination to ensure they're not putting the rest of our crew at risk. Once we get all those things done, then we can meet back again and trade stories of mutual failure.
And we'll report back.
And we'll report back on exactly how bad that's gone.
I love your confidence in your
Steve,
crew,
were
sir.
you thinking here of your jury rig ability? Attempting an engineering test to...
It was going to be a combination of jury
for
rig
repairs.
and I know my ship.
Okay, I know my ship. Whenever you attempt to test or determine a source of a technical problem with your ship. So both those things deal with repairs. But there are, you can take something from one ship and use it for another, breaking the laws of physics. There's a rule here about creating a team and using ship resources to make the ship do something that it's not normally supposed to do.
Right.
And what that'll mean is that it's also going to tie in one of your ship systems. In this case, it's going to tie in the sensor systems. So if you go too big on this, you might end up creating something that overloads the systems or creates different things. You have to give me here, as if you're going to head down to engineering and start this project, and the whole table can sit on this, and you don't have to be your characters, you can just be other crew members in engineering. I need you to come up with 3 sort of spitball ways that you would increase the sensor resolution. 3 different methods in the ship. And this is technobabble stuff. Just 3 different things that you would do to do what you want to do, increase the resolution on the sensor lab. And you're going to have 3 choices. And then I'm going to mark down one of them is going to be like the right way. One of them is going to be outside the box. And one of them isn't going to work at all.
Okay.
And then you have to pick one of those 3. So there's a chance that this might be wasted time.
Okay.
If you pick the one that's outside the box, it also comes with additional effects that deal with your unorthodox thinking.
Okay.
The right way will do exactly what you want it to.
So
I just
gotta-
won't tell you which of those 3 they are.
Sure. Got a plan. Okay, so
You got a plan!
Well, first, I actually,
Take a drink.
I'm taking I'm taking an engineering team down to the holodeck, and I'm recreating the lab that's currently there now, so that we can actually get close to it.
So you want to create a replica of the orb in the holodeck.
Basically using the same using this sensor set within the room to be able to
replicate the orb.
Okay, so that's number 1. So the first engineering task is
so that we can run simulations on
a
what we can
replicated
do.
simulation of the orb in the holodeck.
He doesn't want to break
Conal,
it, Bo.
what was your plan?
I was going to be like, here's your 3 ideas. Deflector dish, reverse of polarity, tachyons. Go.
Okay, so one of them is using the deflector dish array.
Yes, the deflector dish.
Which you're currently at warp. That's not a good, that's the only thing stopping, micrometeors from taking the ship apart.
Yeah.
So, but
Maybe don't use that.
But using the external sensor array, like your long-range sensors, you can reconfigure to turn them inside the ship.
Yes.
All right, so that's idea number 2.
Because
Does
those
someone
are very
have a third
robust
idea?
sensors.
A third idea.
Tachyons. I don't know. In order to do a deep scan on it,
See, that,
to increase the resolution of your inboard scanners.
If you used the scanning equipment used by the transporter has to understand an object on a molecular level in order to break it down and move it from A to B. Now, if you don't break it down and move it,
but you're just going to use the transporter sensors to scan
use
it.
the transporter sensors to give you an accurate read of exactly its molecular makeup.
Okay, yeah, because then I can use that to be able to. I can take the.
Okay, don't make another one.
Listen, you got your three. Make two. You got your three ideas. You got using the holodeck to create a second lab.
I'm trying to reverse engineer this whole thing.
Use the holodeck to create a second lab.
Yes.
Scan with the transporter sensors.
Yes.
And the external sensor arrays
Conal,
turned inward.
what's wrong?
You have the highest engineering stat out of the group.
Yeah.
Which of those three do you want to have? I'm just going to...
So it's recreating a holodeck.
Mm-hmm.
Use
holodeck,
a
transporter, external sensors.
External sensors. It's tough because it's like I want to use the external sensors. That's sort of the because they are the most powerful other than internal sensors.
Yep.
But if I recreate it on the holodeck, I can run simulations on it to see what we can be able to do to fix it.
Without
actually harming the orb.
We'll skip the roll. I'm supposed to actually have you roll first to see if any of them are on the right way. Yes, they are. So that's still going to take up, though, it's going to use up one of the intervals as we move through the day.
No, that's fair.
Okay.
I mean, we want to know more about it. Find out what's going, whether it's the orb or not.
That was your job. Can I give him any additional success through, command and presence or something?
At this point, the additional success would count for momentum towards the group.
Sure.
Yeah. So
because we had a meeting and I gave people orders and stuff like that.
You have the readout. I've written out your talents here. Mm-hmm. What does one of them say about what's the wording in that?
Veteran?
On the printout here.
Oh, on the printout here.
What does it actually say in terms of how it generates your momentum?
Oh, using a talent?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Because I think it's one of your talents actually allows you to use... Here, I'll just have a quick scan of it with my own eyes.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to think of because I was just could I use command and presence?
Well, no one's done a roll yet.
There's an order.
If you were doing an assist roll, yes.
That would make him feel better about doing the thing.
We skipped a roll because I'm still learning.
That's totally fine.
You've got your 3 plans.
Yeah.
Which one of those is the right way, one of those is out of the box, one of those isn't going to work at all?
I use veteran.
I'm gonna go with external sensors.
External sensors.
Good choice.
Yeah. That seems the logical course of action.
I like that.
So this is going to be...
yes, my quarter Vulcan parts.
You're starting now a new work track separate from this other thing. I'm going to put down... it's a work track of... it's not going to take you that long to do, so I'm going to say it's a work track of 5. It's a difficulty of 1, and it's a magnitude of magnitude 1. So you just need 1 breakthrough, but you need to get 5 successes if you don't get that breakthrough, and the difficulty is 1 with your roll. So you can do all this from engineering yourself if you want to. But in the meantime, as you head down to engineering to work on the sensors, what do the other 3 of you want to be doing?
You want to talk to Haas first?
Yeah, I gotta go talk to Haas.
Okay, so you call Haas up to... the... where do you want to meet him?
Where's a good place to meet? I mean, the ready room, I imagine, is not a good place to meet somebody.
It's right off the bridge, so...
Yeah, it's right off the bridge, so
the ready room is a
bad
perfect
call.
place, too, to bring a guest on board ship for a one-on-one meeting. You can bring him to the briefing room. You can meet him anywhere, down in the mess hall, or...
Is he in his quarters?
He's either going to be in his quarters with the other Bentakans or on guard with them out by the lab.
I'll meet him down in his quarters. I'll come to him. Show good faith.
So you arrive at the quarters, and they're all staying. They've all requested to stay in the same larger room, and 6 are on, 6 are off. So that's him and 5 others that are there, and they seem to be, when the door opens, they're living minimally. Like they've got mats rolled out on the table. They've got the lights have been kind of lowered down, and the other 5 seem to be in like a meditative, sitting position as they're just either resting.
You know how
or waiting.
monks do. Yeah.
Contemplative.
I want to know the Starfleet version of nice as I walk into the room.
Haas meets you at the
Impressive.
door and Are we still en route? How long until we arrive
Most wise.
at our destination?
Oh, we're a
Has
few
anything
days out
happened?
still, about 6 days now at this point. We are moving at maximum speed, but we should be at this location very swiftly. There's nothing to worry about.
He thanks you for the update. He doesn't think that you coming down personally was that necessary, but nonetheless, and he goes to start closing the door.
Well, Hess, I was wondering if I could speak with you for a moment. She said, foot in the door. Hi.
And he seemed like, what would be the point?
Well, I wanted to talk to you about your refusal to medical examinations while on board my ship.
And it's not proper for us. I understand that you do not force these things without the consent of the others, and it would not be proper for us to have our being scanned.
Of course. No, and I fully respect your need for privacy. That being said, and I want to use Focus's diplomacy, persuasion, and hand phaser. No, Starfleet protocol to try and create a solution that is basically along the lines.
So pick one of your focuses here, and the one of your focuses is going to give you an extra die to roll with.
Okay,
And
I'm
you're
gonna go with persuasion.
And which are the two here? Your attribute and your discipline.
And the discipline?
One of them's probably going to be command.
Command and
But
reason.
The other could be reason or insight. Because reason is you're like reasoning. This is made of stone. Insight is you're lying to me. Is that so?
Yeah, no. So it's definitely command and reason. So 14. And I'm trying to get under. I'm trying to get under
that
14.
Now he
with persuasion
is not going to give this up. So the reason I was saying to work a focus is this will also be a difficulty of 2. You can roll these, and both of them can be successes. But unless the third die is a success, it's not going to really go in your favor here.
So I would need 3 successes.
You can also, if you have a value you can call upon to use a determination point, or you can take assistance from the doctor, Rempel.
Do I have to call the use of the determination point now, or can I call that in the event that I don't make it?
You would spend it in at this point when you're buying dice.
Okay.
But you're automatically buying a dice at 1.
All right. I'm going to take that with diplomacy as always an option.
Okay, so you get a die already at 1, wherever the hell, there's the 1.
Boom.
And
then 3 other dice. Yeah. And I need to make at least 3 successes. So 2 out of 3 on this roll here that I've got. Because I bought the 1, I'll just cross that off.
I'm going to double check how that difficulty roll is, but I believe that's what it is here. Difficulty 0 tasks. Those are fun. Where's tasks? Sorry, I'm just going to take my time and not panic like I did last time.
Of course.
I have to make sure we're doing this fairly. 77, 76. It's really warm in this room. Sorry about that.
9, 12.
So they're all under.
So 4 successes and 1.
So attempting a task.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's a critical.
Game Master sets the difficulty normally from 0 to 5, and in some extreme circumstances, the player takes 2 d20s, chooses to purchase up to 3 additional d20s. Each die rolls equal to or less than the target number scores a success. The number of successes scored equals or exceeds the difficulty of the task. Then the task is completed successfully. So this work task that I was saying for the orb is a difficulty 3, because I do want it to be more than 2. But at a difficulty 2, you only had to roll 2 dice, because if you get 2 successes, it counts as a success.
Okay.
So how many successes did you roll?
4.
You rolled 4 successes, plus one of them was an advantage.
Yeah.
So you lay this down going, it's imperative to the safety of the crew and to the ship. We want to make sure you didn't bring anything on board.
I want to ensure that you and your crew are able to continue your vigil in front of your sacred relic. I can't have you wandering around my ship with potentially dangerous diseases floating around in your system. You've been isolated on a moon in front of a neutron star for millennia. I can't just let you walk around dangerously. And I'm just from one leader to another. You wouldn't allow this among your people.
He sighs, slumps his shoulders, clearly defeated by your diplomatic prowess, and he agrees to allow medical officers into their quarters,
Okay.
and they can do their scans here.
We just want to make sure you're not carrying anything dangerous.
And
Nothing-
Rempel's standing just around the corner.
No, he
I'm
can't.
like,
Isn't he our EMH?
the EMH has not been activated.
Oh, okay.
It's an emergency medical
Oh, so we got
hologram.
to Rempel.
So you have an
That's why
actual
we got
doctor
Rempel
on board.
So we just do like a.
He was kind of like, Captain, could you get them to do this? And he's like following behind you with his notepad, and he's like looking around the corner. And he's allowed in, and he brings his nurses in, and they come into the room and they start doing their scans. And he says he'll send you a report as soon as he's
Do we have?
finds out what's going on.
Do we have any Bjorn nurses?
Bajoran nurses?
Bjorn.
Now they're Swedish, are they?
Well, it's a soft J.
Scanning you.
I don't know.
Bajoran nurses, do we have any?
If you want them to be, I guess we can create that.
Yes, please.
But it's not important. Exactly,
feel
like
that it would-
the background characters aren't going to change anything.
It might
to-
put the Bantakans more at ease to see their people that are similar to them.
It's a
looking them
Galaxy
over.
class ship. You've got some Bajorans serving on board, so yeah, you send some Bajorans to help as nurses with Rempel.
You there with
to
the
help you out.
nose. Get in here.
Hey, what's that? No shark? What's in? Come on over. Give me a hand with the I'm not racist. What are you talking about?
I think I have a new value.
Shark nose.
In quotations.
Yeah.
So we have now, as we're moving along, we're nowhere close to figuring out this orb. You've got some progress being done with the Bentakans. The Klingons are still down on deck 15
All right,
hanging
so-
out. And you've got the engineer working on the sensors. So the two of you want to go deal with the Klingons?
We're going to go try and deal with the Klingons.
Man, I feel bad for the captain. He's having to deal with that guy. He's a real asshole.
And then it was the longest, most uncomfortable ride in the lift after that joke.
Get out.
Did what I needed
Get out.
And then it was another 40 floors of silence.
There was never a moment where "Shut up, Wesley" was more apt than now.
I'm actually going to, the commander, I'm going to roll up a Patreon name and then Klingify it. We already used Hastings. I rolled him up again. The numbers are going higher than I actually have numbers for. How would we turn Baumgartner into a Klingon?
You say it really angrily.
Yeah.
Baumgartner.
Well,
Bomb would be a
What about-
Morphine or a Klingonese
Commander
name.
Commander Baum or Commander Gartner?
No, Bomb
Gartner.
is
Baum?
more. Yeah.
Baum.
Commander Gartner.
Goknar? All right, so we got two characters. We've got Baum and we've got Goknar. Baum was the chief science officer on the Drakthar, and that was Baum. And then Goknar, is their commanding officer.
You gotta feel it in the back of your throat. Have a junior mint. You'll get it like a gunk back there. Gartner.
I'll stick with my Oreo flavored Oreos. So what are the two of you trying to get out of this? The Klingons are they're recovering. They're humiliated. They just want to get out of here and get back to the Empire and report to their commanders. And
Just say honor a lot.
they don't really. They haven't really spoken to anyone since they've been brought on board. They've just been kept again also to themselves. And there's also security on the floor. They're not allowed to just roam the ship. So they're being kept on deck 15. Security meets you at the turbo lift, and you have Goknar and Baum are yelling at each other. You can hear through the doors of their quarters.
So I'm looking to get any of the scientific data from them to find out what the state was before they had it on the ship. So I'm looking for them to share their findings.
Okay, so when you come up to the door and it opens, Goknar is on top of Baum and he's just pummeling him. You dare challenge me! And he starts beating the crap out of him. There's pink Klingon blood going all over the
Vincent,
room.
get in
Oh,
there.
that's right. Yeah, they bleed sushi. I forgot.
So he's just beating the crap out of him as all the other Klingons are standing around the room and they're just like yelling
Can
at
we
him
just
and cheering
retcon
it
it
on.
that Stephen Prince is there?
Okay. There was at one point, though, watching Star Trek, like the original, in one of the films where there's a bunch of dead Klingons in zero gravity and all their
Yeah,
blood's
that's
floating
Star Trek
around.
6.
And then the first thing I thought was like, man, there's a wacky party going on in here. And they were like, oh, it's Klingon blood. And I was like, oh. I feel bad.
It's still a good good
lamp.
party.
Yeah,
Still a good party.
Not a lava lamp.
Yeah, it's not
Just the wrong kind of party.
So
Different party.
Goknar's kicking the crap out of the science officer from the ship. Yelling
officer
something
named
in
Bomb.
Klingon about him challenging his authority, and that he'll be held personally responsible for the deaths of their brothers, and the other few, not the whole crew isn't here, but the few Klingons that are in this room, they're cheering him on, and they're maybe it's not quarters, because we've been doing enough quarters. I'd say it's like one of those smaller like food lounges, like a small mess hall, not like the main one on deck 10. It's just like a smaller, like a little
space
cafe.
kitchenette.
Little cafe, yeah, a little space cafe.
There's
And
coffee and gach.
and as you're coming towards the door, and they fall into the hallway. And there's Stephen Prince has been guarding this floor, the tactical officer, and he's just completely overwhelmed. He's just
You see the door open and they tumble out, and Steve at the end of the hallway. Oi! It's Esticle! Comes running down the hallway towards you guys. Goodness!
if someone would like to play the support character in this scene.
I mean,
who
I
aren't
think it's
there.
like you've already played it once.
All right.
So you got
the
goodness,
voice.
who is a value. So we now have 3 characters here.
Yeah. So if the two of you can hold Gachnar back,
Okay.
pull him off.
All right.
All right, yeah.
Okay, so that'll be a probably a security and fitness.
Yep.
So
12. Roll under 12.
Roll under 12
I
for
got
that.
11.
And if you want to assist, are you assisting the tactical officer with pulling off, or are you each pulling
Yeah.
off a different person?
No, the same person.
So go ahead and roll your assist.
I got 1 success.
Okay.
Excuse me. Come on, Ensign.
Come on, 9. Nice.
Nice. Okay, so it's 2 successes.
Well, I also got 2 successes, and so
Tie
in this
goes
case,
to the runner?
The tie is going to help you out here. He's struggling enough, but you can just hold him on as you pull them apart from each other, and now you have the floor, Bo.
If you want to insult his honor, make him deal with me.
Oh, shit, son.
Ragnar shrugs off. You will answer the officer all of his questions, and then you will report back to me. And he storms into the room, and he leaves the science officer alone in the hallway with Prince and the helmsman.
Goodness.
And
Nice. No, up top. Nicely
Good
done.
job.
Oh, that's fucking
That was
smart.
good. That was good.
and then he looks at you.
I'm done. That was it.
And then he looks at you. He's like, "Here's your problem now, Lieutenant." And he goes into the room and he starts the door. These doors go, but if they could slam, they would have. So we got Bomb is like wiping blood off of his face, and he's for a Klingon he seems quite meek. Like he'll still break you in half, but compared to other Klingons, he's not the fighter of the group. He's the
He's
nerd.
tiny.
He's the nerd on the crew.
He was the thinker of the fight people.
We need to know what we're dealing with. It is deteriorating. I need answers.
There was no answers to be found. The ship was disabled shortly after we brought it on board.
Did you bring it on board in its state, or did it deteriorate because you brought it on board?
We detected it on the planet's surface. We wanted to bring it up to learn the secrets of it. Believed it to be a strong power energy source. The commander ordered me to tie it into the ship's engines, and then you found us.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Steve's just like, oh, yeah. Like he has anything to contribute to science.
It was either a weapon or a power source. We chose it to be the latter. And it
So we hooked it up to our engines to see
so
what it was.
it almost crippled the ship in the process. And
So
now
by
they're
tying it
holding
in,
him
that's-
responsibility.
By tying it into your power source, that's when it started to have a quantum radiation leak?
The ship was flooded with radiation. It dampened our power. Shields dropped. And then I was held in some form of stasis until you arrived. If you brought it on board, you should destroy it now.
Oh, yeah.
Can you contribute to the situation?
Yeah. No.
Oh, my God.
We have brought it on board, and since now not
Are you
only
learning though?
I'm going to cross off idealistic and inexperience.
So at this point here, you can roll to ask some more questions, or he's just going to not offer up anything more.
Can I use Studious?
What does Studious say?
No, that's when I spend one or more momentum to obtain information.
How much bonus momentum? How many bonus successes did you get when you rolled? When you did with the Bajoran Conal, you rolled 4 successes, right? So you got 2 momentum that have been added to the pool.
Yeah.
And how many additional successes? It was a tie, so you didn't get any bonus stuff from there. So we'll put those up there for you to remember. But I want to move this into something
absolutely.
else. So
Well,
what do you want from him?
I want his assistance in stabilizing it.
He is at your disposal until they arrive at the station. At which point he imagines he'll be facing disciplinary action and won't be leaving Kronos anytime soon. It's Rora
get a
Penfe
desk
for me
job.
now.
Well,
So I want to bring him to the lab.
So you
Your
will
job
be
is
able
gonna
to
be
use
far, far, far,
him
far, far.
as
Yes.
I've got stats for the Klingon scientist.
Yep.
He will be able to assist you in roles if you go to do research onto the orb.
Yes.
So
Yep.
you have added him to your party.
I have a new
So
I have
you
a
now
sidekick.
so you got this. You'll have an advantage in the scene now. Klingon scientist
Great.
that you can use when you head there. However, the time spent brainstorming the scanner and working with the Bajorans for the medical scan and this Klingon brawl, we come to the end of our first day, and our next tasks begin on day 2 as we head closer to Deep Space Nine.
Okay. Dawn
So,
of the second day.
On the second day, you get the report from Medical Officer Rempel saying
Please don't be space aids.
his scans are.
Please don't be a butt full of space aids.
They don't have any diseases on them, sir, but there's something wrong. Normally, when we see offshoot races with millennia between them, like, for example, the Romulans and the Vulcans, there's a noticeable genetic drift between the two species. We even see it even on localized planets from different cultures from other continents.
Well, yeah, look at humans, for fuck's sake.
The Bajorans here on the ship, at least just the tricorder scans, aren't showing any of those obvious markers. He doesn't believe they are who they say they are. And, and he's a Tellarite, so he's quite...
so he's a Tellarite?
He's a Tellarite, your doctor. So he's quite
Forthright
to a point of being rude.
What's
Yeah,
a
he's
Tellarite
very-
again?
Remember Star Trek Enterprise? Did you ever?
The Cheshire Cat grin.
Yeah, I've actually got a,
Oh, really?
a Tellarite character.
I mean, he's not a cat.
Okay,
That's the
let's
case.
I can scroll to the
pull me up
page.
I'm gonna I'll Google it.
Yeah, just Google it. It'll come up on Memory Alpha, but it's right here.
Just search for.
P-
how do you spell Phlox?
P-H-L-O-X.
Okay.
Here we are. If you want to see on my computer screen, Conal, you can come around. The Tellarites are stout, hirsute species from
yeah.
Tellar Prime. They're one of
yeah.
the founding members of the Federation.
They got the
Their
big
culture
eyebrows.
is known for being abrasive and argumentative with a stubborn pride and quick temper. So he calls up and he's all like,
They're very blunt.
Captain, they aren't who they say they are. Whoever they are, they're not Pentakians. They're just regular Bajorans as far as I can tell.
Very
Your
gruff.
bedside
I'll need
manner
to do-
is amazing as usual.
I'll need to do deeper scans, of course, if they'll even allow me. But they're staying locked up in their room.
So
I
for all
want to get a look
intents,
at their brains, but there's no genetic drift in their blood as far as my tricorders
so
can
for
see.
all intents and purposes, they are Bajorans.
The ship
almost
is safe if you're worried about that. They haven't brought
almost
any
exactly.
bugs on board.
Okay, good. That's good. That's the first concern. But the second being that there is no genetic drift between them and the Bajorans whatsoever.
Well, tricorders can't see everything going on, and sometimes they can be missing key differences. But normally, this stuff's pretty obvious. Not obvious today.
See if they'd be willing to give up a person for a deeper
Tissue scan.
Massage. Yeah.
massage is a good way to put that.
let's cut him up and look inside.
Of the brain. Well, because we have
He's
better
all like,
scanning.
oh, sure, I'll just roll
here.
out the red carpet for him. I'll make him a tea. I'll invite him over for a massage therapy.
Oolong.
He's pretty gruff for a Tellarite.
It's fucking...
Where Flux
Grouchy
isn't a
motherfucker.
Tellarite.
Phlox is a Denobulan.
Oh, Denovian.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They're the
Yes,
Buddhists
you're right,
of
you're
Star
right.
Trek.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
Tellarites
yeah.
are the argumentative
What?
I
enemies
forgot.
of the Andorians.
Yeah.
Okay, so... Fuck, why do we have a Tellarite doctor?
Because his name was Volsar and was the only one that made sense.
All right, fine. Okay, fine. See if they would be willing to give up somebody for more deep scanning. Because they have other scanning equipment in the medical bay. I imagine
yeah.
that it's not invasive,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it can give a deeper scan.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, just tell them
If they
that...
get him onto a med bay, they'll be able to get all the answers they need.
Well, tell them the truth, that there appears to be something irregular about the scans that you're performing, and we'd like at least one of them to submit themselves just for literally 10 minutes of their time just to be scanned and then sent back to the thing. They'll barely miss them.
All right, so he'll see what he can do. He'll get back to you if he needs any additional help.
Okay, yeah, let me know if you need me to come down there and talk to some people.
It doesn't
Or
match
bitch
what I have found in the way
So
that
why
they
don't
speak
you
about
give
things.
here, because you're giving him an order to help, and this might help give him that advantage you need. Roll here a quick command and presence, Captain.
Yeah, sure.
You're telling the doctor what to do?
Boop. Command and presence, I gotta get under 13.
Nope.
Oh my god, neither. I got 14 and 15 on the dice.
Huh.
Can I give myself a third with Starfleet Protocol?
With focus, yes.
Do it.
5. Sorry, one. Uno
And your
mas.
command is 5, right?
Yeah.
All right, so at first it's kind of like he's not buying it, and then you're like, may I remind you of your role as chief medical officer? Just order them into sickbay. And he goes, fine, I'll see what I can do. He turns off the comm.
What's your job? Do your
your
job,
job.
So
Pulsar!
do we want to roll here on your work towards the sensor scans?
Yeah.
Sure.
So go ahead and
So, okay, because you know what? We may have forgot about what we have. We have advanced sensor suites on the ship.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
yeah, and those advanced sensor suites are used to find high resolution like scans of things that are in close, and you want to turn them inside the ship.
Yes.
Do you want to use your crew here in engineering to assist you in the role?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that'll be an opportunity cost of momentum to bring in the crew as a resource.
Okay.
So you're using your momentum to use the crew in engineering.
Yep.
And you're down there working on reconfiguring the sensors to be focused in like a magnifying glass on the lab where the orb is being held.
Yes.
So that will be, as I said, it's a difficulty 3.
Well, with the advanced sensor suites, I can reduce the task by difficulty of the task by 1.
That's using the sensors.
Yeah.
We're not using the sensors. We're reconfiguring the use
reconfiguring
of
first.
the sensors.
Okay,
So
right.
right now, we got to finish this engineering research and development
Gotcha.
program.
Okay.
If you want to use the sensors for something they're not normally done, these are normally used to scan things outside the ship.
Okay.
So to turn them on the inside of the ship, it's not how they're intentionally built to do. So before you're right. When using the sensors, you'll be able to get that.
I'm just not at
bonus.
that step yet. Okay.
But
fair.
we got to first do the first thing. So it's,
All right,
it's an
can I-
engineering and probably an engineering and control
So it'll
to
be a 15.
manipulate the controls enough to turn those.
I like to use my reverse engineering focus
Okay.
for that, so that gives me an additional die, correct?
Yeah, and you use the momentum to get a 4th die with the crew
Okay.
because you got your team working with you, and so they're counting as an assist roll.
Okay. So I need to get under a 15.
And we can even say, no, you're doing something to the ship, not with the ship. So
Yeah.
the ship
Yeah.
isn't going to
That's
assist
why I'm
you on the
using
roll
my
just
stats
yet.
instead of the ship stats. Okay, so 7, 1,
A one.
1,
2 ones.
and a 16. So I got 3 successes.
So you got 3 successes.
critical.
So
Critical
take
successes.
2 momentum here because you got one. You got enough. You got all these criticals. You got some advantages here. So what kind of advantage? Like you get to. It works and works a little bit better than you expected it to. What advantage do you think makes sense here for the sensors to pick up on? That high resolution. Tell you what. Not only can it scan the orb in the room, but if you can get some of those Bentakans into that room, you might be able to get a scan from them at the medical
from a
bay.
molecular level.
Yeah.
You might be able
I
to
could
get
do
the
the deep
doctor
scan.
scans.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I'm cool with that.
You
that's
basically
fucking
you
clever.
turn the
Yeah.
room into like an MRI.
Yes.
Yeah. yes.
Hope they're not wearing watches.
Using the fucking
Exactly.
transporters like scanners, and then the deep scanning equipment from the
Yeah.
outside of this, like in tandem, you could literally get a molecular construct of these
I've
guys.
basically turned the lab into like its own
It's-
MRI
yeah,
machine.
The entire room's a fucking MRI.
Rempel's there going, "You're a brilliant engineer. I love it. Send me the report when you have the scan.
You're fucking genius.
You're gonna have to get him into the room now, which is fine because they're standing guard outside the door. So
Just walk up. Oh, gee, I wonder what that orb feels like. Guess I'll go in and touch it. See if they follow me in.
okay,
could open the
you've
door and
spent,
they might look
you've
in.
spent a
Accident.
third of your time now. A third of the time is spent working towards getting these answers. We've got just over half of the time until we arrive at Deep Space Nine. What?
Actually,
would you like to work towards? Because I still have this work track for the orb, which we haven't even started on.
Yeah, no,
If you want to actually do research on it.
Ensign, if you want to actually go into the room with the orb, I'm sure that they'll follow you in there, and then they can just scan them while they're in there.
Okay.
You don't even have to do anything to the orb. Just
And
go
you
and
can
be like,
all
I'm doing
use
scans.
this whole.
Just
It doesn't
use
just
a
have to
track
be.
record,
You're
yeah.
the research lead, Velvet, as science officer, but anyone can assist in the lab throughout the day and just add checks to this work track and just keep things moving along so that we continue to research this orb. It's not like it's not an actual like what we've been doing, flipping switches and telling people to get out of rooms and do other things. This is just like do your homework, and you're just rolling for homework as we research this orb. That's another thing we've got to do.
So I've been waiting my turn
Yeah.
in terms of talking, but
Yeah.
that would be the focus, and I'd have the Klingon Bomb. James Bomb. I would have him in there with me too.
Bombs. House
He's
of
my bath bomb.
Bomb, son of Bomb. Bomb, son of Bomb. And so he comes with you and he says to see what the lab, and it looks like probably one of Data's labs in the show with the railing around the side, and in the center in like one of those plexiglass helds is in protective shielding this orb, and think of it like the flower from Beauty and the Beast. This thing is wilting. Things are flaking off of it, and there's more
like that
light.
analogy.
There's more light coming off of it than it used to be, and in the shields are having to drain a little bit more power to keep it in. As you walk into the lab, the computer is even giving you a radiation warning. There's no seal breach in the lab, but the shields are the only thing that are keeping this lab safe for unprotected people. It's kind of a little dicey.
Yes.
So you've got the assist roll from the Klingon. I'll even give you use that black die, and you can give me the d20s back because we're sharing them around the table because none of you brought dice with you today.
I don't know. Up there.
And if you want to roll for that,
So I have been kind of waiting for some information from the sensors, but
you'll be able to get now. I would say
You have a legitimate excuse to go in the lab.
You get an advantage with improved sensors when you're rolling with the ship.
Yep.
It's lowered the difficulty now from 3 to 2 because the sensors have become so nice. When using the ship's sensors, that die is now on a difficulty 2 compared to all the others.
Nice.
So you've got
So you need to get
this
2 or higher
nice advantage
successes.
when you're rolling with the ship's sensors. Which do we have the ship sheet?
Yep.
Pass this over to the science officer. So you've got that, and on top of that, your sensor suite already lowers the difficulty of 2.
Nice.
So now your difficulty when rolling with the ship's sensors is 1. When you're scanning the orb, that dice will now roll with the difficulty 1. The rest of yours, your discipline and attribute, and the Klingon are the regular difficulty. So does that all make sense? And
no, but I'll roll and you'll
have-
tell me I won.
Sorry,
You
if he's doing the scan, I can use my experimental tech focus.
and you can roll in the assist, and there's your
Yes.
5 die.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Boom.
But
So you're
we're
in there.
rolling against whatever his number is, right?
Yeah, normally I would only allow 1 assist, and you've already got the Klingon, you've already got the ship, but it's 8:52, so let's keep things moving.
Nice.
Well, obviously, I know about the radiation. I want to see if we can heal and seal. If we can seal the cracks or seal the leaks.
But
that
you
are
can't do
going
anything
on.
unless you learn more about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So first, waiting on those scans, want to be able to see the core of this thing.
Yep. So let's roll the die.
Yeah.
And not off the table.
All right.
So
well,
what was your science and reason?
Yeah.
What does that combine?
So that's 15.
Oh,
So
good.
I have
15
4
on the nose.
successes
and what is yours, though, that you're assisting with?
because you're rolling against.
Because you're rolling with your stats.
Oh, I got to roll with my own. So it's science and reason.
Yeah, unless you're helping in a different way to give him an advantage,
Oh,
you don't
well,
have
in
to
that
use that.
case, I didn't.
What
get
was
it.
the focus you wanted to use?
Experimental tech?
So maybe you could be doing engineering as you're working with the sensors and you're working with the computers.
Engineering and reason. That's 15. I'm good.
Okay, so is that 5 successes?
Yes.
Were any of them?
Good job.
No, none of them were under your discipline number. None of them went into a complication range. So that's just a straight up easy. You're halfway to your first breakthrough,
Soft, sad high fives
Right?
all around the table. Yes.
and you're now halfway through the 3rd day. You're halfway to Deep Space Nine, but you're working like around the clock now as you're doing it.
Yes.
You can spend more time to maybe get your next breakthrough. You can roll again, and you continue into the next shift, into the next day. to research this orb?
I am going to continue until, and if I need to use the Klingon scientist to take a break, but or rather to slap me awake again.
Yeah,
so
you're
I can
working on it. You
continue
feel
and-
like you're close to a breakthrough, but it's just there's something weird about this. You got because you got so many. It takes some
Now, can
momentum
I
here.
also test a theory?
You had how many successes? You had 5
We had 5
successes, and you
successes.
only needed to get 3.
Yeah.
Or you only needed to get the 1 because of the ships. So you got 4 bonuses. So you got your success, plus you can get 4 momentum here, which can be spent to ask me questions along the way based on what you've been learning.
Right.
Or we can save them to use later. So you've got 4 questions you can ask me here about the orb, rather than me just voluntarily handing over information.
Of the 2 questions, I believe that the orb question is more important than who the Bentakans really are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you're
Because-
focusing on that. I'm trying to figure them out.
Because if this thing doesn't stabilize, then we're all dead. It doesn't
It
matter.
doesn't matter who they were.
Bentakans are.
They're dead anyway.
So I would
Can I
like
have a look
to.
at your focuses here? Can I see your focuses? I'm just wondering if the 2 of you might be able to put something together.
I mean, I got.
Hey, okay, there's something, if you don't mind, one of the answers you have is, as I take one of your momentum away, there's something, Armstrong, that you swear you've seen this pattern somewhere, but you don't know where, you don't know when, you don't know how.
Say what?
But this repeating pattern that the orb has been broadcasting, as you're getting closer on these scans, you're getting into like a higher resolution image of what this pattern is actually doing, as you're looking at a sample of, you're like, I swear I've seen this somewhere, but you're not at a breakthrough. You feel like you're onto something.
Okay.
And if you just keep working at it, you might figure something else out. But it's
Pursue that.
strange. Like, yeah, like this isn't. You swear you've seen this somewhere. That's all I'm going to say for that.
Okay.
So you got
just thought
3
it was
more if
funny,
you'd like to
like-
ask questions. I know you're coming on to something. Velvet.
There's something about this that it seems familiar. I don't know if I grew up around this. It seems artificial in some way. Like I know you want this to be a real orb,
Well,
but it
right,
seems.
Jumping to that, I didn't say it was artificial. I just said you've seen this pattern that it's broadcasting.
Oh well, I picked what focus I thought that was.
Yeah. I didn't tell
seems-
you what it is. I'm just telling you you're on the right track.
Oh, okay.
Is what I'm
so
trying to say. You're on the right track, but you don't know an answer yet.
Okay.
But yeah, you
It looks like manufactured or something. I've seen a lot of objects built from my family's factories. I've seen there's something about this that doesn't seem.
Can you go through the computer and do a pattern recognition
Good call.
through the library?
Yep, you can do that, and he'll have to work on that tomorrow in another roll. So you've got 3 more momentum. Do you want to bank them, or do you want to spend them for information?
I want more information.
Okay, so what
Yeah.
would you like to? I can just volunteer something else I know about it and give you another breadcrumb, unless there's something specific you'd like to know.
You had said before that it was quantum radiation, but is there any other kind of radiation? Like, is it just one type of radiation?
The
Is it,
scanners are picking up the things that are flaking off of these orbs, whatever it's made of, because there's a lot about the actual orb makeup that we still don't know much about. I mean, we know shards can still be used to create like psionic powers and stuff like this, but there's nothing in that like psionic range, if it can even be detected by scanners. Certainly you haven't had any visions, no one else has had any visions, and the stuff that's flaking off of this is not in line with how orbs of the 9 have ever worked before. There's a part of you in the back of your head that's going, this isn't real. This isn't adding up. Whatever you've got in your lab
Isn't an orb.
might not
Yeah.
be an orb of the prophets.
Or as
But
they
you're
say
nowhere
very
close to
famously,
knowing what it is.
Yeah.
it's a fake.
I just want
it is a fake.
someone.
I know it's a fake. Yeah.
I just
But
want
so are
someone
they.
to lean over to bomb and be like, "Bomb! It's a bomb!"
The scans with one of the Bantakan guards who follow you into the room, looking over your shoulder, making sure you don't poke it with a stick, like the Klingons did. And the Volsar does a scan on them, and there's more going on with what he's scanning with. Like these aren't medical scanners, so he doesn't know what he's looking at.
He's getting a lot of data.
But he's getting data from them. They're definitely just Bajorans. They're not whatever they are. There's no genetic drift in them. It matches up with the transporter data when they beamed on board the ship. If these truly were an offshoot race, there'd be markers. They're not there. whoever they're claiming to be, they're just Bajorans. He doesn't know how they got out there or what the hell they're doing on that planet or why they've got this story in their head. But, there might be, if they do a scan on their memories, maybe something's been done to them.
Carbon date those tablets that we brought on board along with the orb to see if they're actually ancient tablets or if they were fabricated and made along with some of the other crap.
There's your last question.
Okay.
So you do have...
Is that
you've
all
all
right?
been focused on the
I
orb.
was just using up
You've
a
all
thing.
been focused on the orb that no one thought about it, and one of the science people in the back of the room go, why don't we have a look at one of these tablets in the back? And they do a little scan over them, and, the carbon dating on the stone is old, from probably mined from the planet itself, but the carvings on this stuff were made with modern machinery. They were etched with some kind of
Are we able
cutting
to tell
tool.
how recently?
With further analysis, but whatever it is, these aren't ancient.
Quite.
Someone's been trying to tell us a story. So you can keep rolling as we move down the work track. It burns up a lot of time, but it's part of the homework as we head towards it. You've got 3 days left now. We're halfway to the trip. And
think
you're
we gotta
about, I can say
confine-
you're a quarter of the way done in terms of this research.
We got to put
focusing on that.
Yeah, I need to know what this
Okay.
is. I know what it isn't.
I'll talk to
I
Hess.
need to know what it is.
I don't think the talking to him. We just got to bring him to the brig.
I'll lock those kids up.
Bring him up to the ready room and just turn around, bullshit, at him as he
And
walks in the door.
are you sticking around with the science officer and helping him with the research with another assist roll?
Yes.
Okay, roll again. Same deal.
Same deal. So
Can I also assist?
engineering?
No,
and
at that point, there's only so many people that can fit around a console.
reason. All right. 12. All right. Good.
So I had one that matched my discipline and 3 total.
And one that was over.
And one that was just over.
Okay, so the one that matches your discipline, normally this would create an advantage into a scene, but we're just going to I'll just have it as an additional momentum. So you had 4 now. Oh no, actually, sorry, I'm wrong. You get the discipline, so you automatically get your breakthrough. So you as you're
Nice.
So as you're working on it, and I'll actually, if you don't mind, Armstrong, you're going to walk in on something as is happening. We arrive
I just really love the province.
we arrive early on the 4th day. You've stayed up. You pulled an all-nighter. You're working in the lab, and you've got a bomb with you, and you're working a scanner, but you can't be invasive because the Bentakin's looking over your shoulder. So you're trying to work some kind of like resolution scanner to do an optical scan around it. And then just as that happens, when you roll that 5 on your science kit, you hear like a click and a hum, and all of a sudden the whole room flashes into reflected images all over. And the sound of like a slow moving klaxon, and both you and Baum are trapped in a stasis field that gets beamed out of the orb. And Armstrong, you walk right into the lab just as this has happened. And you know what? You were on the away mission when you were on the Klingon ship. This is, whatever it is, it's exactly what it looked like, except now it's in your lab. There's the orb floating there. There's all these replicated images. There's Bo standing there with a bunch of images reflecting out from him. And he's kind of stuck there, and his eyes are looking around, and he can't move.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
All right.
That's your first breakthrough.
That's our first breakthrough.
That's a breakthrough.
That was a breakthrough.
Yeah,
You're done fucked it up.
All right. So.
Well, we've recreated the weird temporal bubble. That's...
The ship's gone to yellow alert because it's being activated.
I can just imagine fucking Commander Schofield just sitting in his chair or whatever,
There's-
and then there's just like, this is happening in the science room,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he just like leans
Stephen
over
Prince is on a
slowly,
Tegabar.
yellow alert button.
Starts going off on his console, and he's like, "Sir, stasis field activated in laboratory 12."
And just not saying anything, he slowly leans and just pushes the yellow alert button, and he goes back to sitting in his chair.
The man for the job, eh?
All right. Well, then I'm gonna call the captain and say, the orb has broken containment. It looks exactly like it did when we were on the Klingon ship. Should we try and wrap it in a energy field?
Well, to stop it from getting worse, throw a shield around it. Lieutenant Commander Monroe, if you could assist in getting the containment system up and running better, And so Armstrong, if you could assist him, please.
Okay.
I'm going to be coming down, and I want a full report
That would
on
be
what's
engineering
going
and control
when I arrive.
to set up this fields. I mean, you did this once before on the away mission. It's just sort of rinse and repeat to put it back in containment.
with fully functioning systems
Yeah.
that are significantly more robust.
And more powerful. Can I dice me? How many am I rolling?
Well, you're rolling 2 unless you can tell me you're putting a focus in.
Yeah, computers.
I want a
This
full
isn't
report.
computers. This
I
is
want-
shields. This
Oh,
is-
okay, fine.
I
Yeah,
want a full report for when I arrive and I head down.
I can help with experimental tech. Or
Yep.
Both successes, 13 and a 2.
Go ahead, roll an assist.
All
You
right,
got both successes. That's fine. You only needed roll ahead, and you can get additional momentum.
2.
Yes.
Oh, additional momentum plus you get So you get the. I'll even throw in an advantage for you. You get the thing locked down. You deactivate it, and it's obvious to you as a science officer. This was a program that was built into it, and now that you've seen it activated, you're able to follow the trail. This thing is covered in hollow emitters. You can't see it before because the signals and the radiation coming over were masking everything else coming out of it. These quantum radiation signatures that are pulsing from the orb. What you were trapped in was a stasis field broadcast from devices inside of this orb. It's clearly a fake. You still don't know what it is, but it was clearly designed to look like an orb and act like an orb and replicate some weird imagery using micro hollow emitters that broadcast limited field around it to fool everyone's eyes.
We cannot take this to Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, this cannot go near the wormhole. This is this was a trick to bring us to the wormhole with this thing. There's no way. We
So
should bring
this
it back,
thing
sir.
could probably
Captain,
bungle fuck the wormhole
As
if
you're,
you throw it.
as you're coming up to the lab, the Bentakans are swarming around the door, demanding to be let in to know what you've done and have you damaged it.
Set him to the brain.
And Haas confronts you in the hallway, going, "You promised you wouldn't interfere. You promised your aid. You promised your help."
Indeed, Haas. If that's your real name.
And he seems genuinely
call the Klingons
confused by
down.
that.
He seems genuinely confused. You told me that your people had been on that planet surrounding that star for a millennia.
Yes, we were all born there. We've all lived our lives on the temple.
That can't be true. The basic medical scans that were performed on you showed that you were born and raised on Bajoran.
And someone comes over and one of his subordinates is like, they're lying to us. They're trying to manipulate us again. They want to steal our items.
Someone is lying to all of us. They're trying to make fools out of you and us. What you have in there is not an orb of the prophets. It might be something designed to actually destroy the people whom you revere.
And he is...
I'm going to try to do some fucking insight,
okay.
command insight on him to see if he's lying or if he genuinely believes
And I like
that
to
he is who he
use,
says he is.
Shuttle
Go ahead.
technician to help.
Go on. Shuttle technician isn't going to help you.
I gotta get some of them tasty dice.
No, it just felt like lemon blow.
I'm gonna try to use focus persuasion to get me a third dizzy dice here, and I've got to get
The difficulty here is going to be a 1. All we want to do is learn his motivations and if he's lying to you.
under 12. 2 under 12. So 7 and a 10.
Okay, so you get a momentum here as a bonus for
Oh,
getting
good
high
dice.
over it. He genuinely seems confused.
Yeah.
He doesn't trust you.
Yep.
And whatever it is that's going on, at least you're not a counselor, you're not a betazoid either, but he doesn't appear to be lying.
He fully believes that he was born on that planet, raised on that planet, and the whole thing. It's just like Schofield says, like, we can share our scan information with you, both the scans that we made of your people, as well as that device that's in the room, as well as the planet over the last few years. That planet has been uninhabited until 2 years ago.
The panic in him is starting to rise. And he is starting to say things along the line like, if you're not willing to take this back to the source, we will take it to the source ourselves. And the other subordinates are beginning to rank and file behind him and stand in a more aggressive posture.
I use talent, diffuse the tension.
What does that talent actually say?
That talent actually says, whenever you attempt a task to persuade someone not to resort to violence, you may add a bonus d20 to your dice roll. Mm-hmm. So does that put me
You
up
can throw
to...
in and add in diplomacy, so you'd be rolling with 4 die.
Yeah.
And what do you exactly? You're trying to
use
diffuse
momentum
this.
for an extra one.
But rather than them fight you and try and take this orb off the ship and continue on their own, what outcome are you going for?
He looks him dead in the face and says, neither you nor I know exactly what the truth is, but we both have pieces. Work with me, and we can solve this mystery together.
The difficulty here is 2.
Difficulty is 2, and I'm trying to, command insight?
Command
reason?
either command and reason or command and presence in this. Because you're trying to
presence.
break
Yeah.
through his panic and his psychic.
That
And
gives me 3.
Nice.
That gives you
Nice.
3?
Yeah.
So take these 2 momentum, we'll add that to the pool. And I know I keep forgetting I have threat that I can spend, but I'm not gonna. I want to. So he begins to come down. He motions for the rest of them to stay here, and he orders them all to stand guard by the lab. Don't let anything more happen to the Orb of Revelation. And then he looks to you and goes, Captain, let's find those answers.
All right, let's do that. I've got people in there who are stuck with this thing, so first thing we need to do is you and me, we're going to go to engineering. We're going to figure this out. So we head down to engineering.
If those dice had gone
Good job.
belly up on you,
Well done, Captain.
you would have had a riot in the hallway.
Fuck! And then Steve would have had to use goodness to stop it.
A corridor brawl.
That would have been it. That would have been good.
Okay, so we're arriving near like midnight or near the end of the day of our 4th day after all this has been going on. And are you still en route to Deep Space Nine, or are you bringing the ship?
Oh, we're still going.
We're still going. Okay, so you're
Whereas
still
the thing
en
is
route.
that at the end of the day, even if we don't toss this thing down the tube, which we're not planning on doing, Deep Space Nine still has more Bajorans and more information on all of that stuff than any other facility in the quadrant.
That's true.
So it would still make the most sense to deposit this device, whatever it is, and these people, whoever they are, at this location.
So something has happened in the lab. The radiation, after you've been stabilizing it, is getting stronger. Whatever you've triggered, whatever is happening, the deterioration is spreading.
Isn't he still stuck in the thing?
No, he
No,
was
it got
freed by
Armstrong.
Armstrong.
Oh, I'm sure.
This is when the whole thing's happening.
Woo, it did something.
The radiation is starting to build. The shielding in the lab is having to increase in power. But something is wrong, and you're very close to completing this task.
Figuring this shit
But
out.
what are the things that you would like to be doing right now?
I have Haas work directly with us.
Okay. In engineering.
I
In
would like
engineering
to-
and like we're working with Bo, myself, Haas, and Steve and Ensign Armstrong. We're like gonna make a team and do this. Oh, and Bomb. Don't forget Bomb.
Yeah,
He's
I would
the
like
bomb.
to. I would like to. First, I want to stabilize the radiation so it doesn't get. I'm going to use my value. If you could break it, you can fix it. So right now, the orb is broken. I can fix it.
Okay, but we don't know what it is to fix. We'd have to complete the research on it before you could work on the answers from the research. What you can do is you can divert more power to the shields in the lab to protect the rest of the ship should the radiation continue to increase.
Yeah, 'cause
but in
that's-
terms of
that's the
actually
immediate
working
danger.
on the orb, one, you still have the Bentakans guarding it, and two, you still don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Once the science officer's got an answer for you, you'll have stuff to actually work
Okay.
off of.
All right.
But in terms of, I know you want to do, but
Yeah.
can you tell me how? Because we don't know what it is yet. If you can tell me how you would plan to stabilize this mysterious object and the radiation coming from it when you don't even know how the radiation is coming from it.
Is there any way that we can bounce the radiation back into it?
Oh shit, that's smart.
Can you?
Reversing polarity back and forth.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, no, I was just
basically-
like trying to think of how to deal with this. You're like, well, what
Because
if we focus
it's got
the
hollow
radiation
emitters
back
on
into-
it.
But those are just for the effects.
Right, so that is just the effect, yeah. Okay.
So build like a mirroring
Some kind
shield
of
Some sort of
yeah.
reflector.
that can not just contain but redirect the energy back into it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Essentially do a reverse shields.
Yeah.
So that anything that bounces off, it would just bounce right back in.
Use its own energy against
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's clever.
Yeah.
We should maybe-
Basically using a combination of force fields and shields. Yeah, I can
That's
work.
why you're the science officer, and that's why you're the engineer.
So that's
Cool.
the
Okay.
idea. Can you build it?
I could build it.
Yes, I can.
So you're starting you've only got 2 days till you get to Deep Space Nine to work on this, but beyond that, you also have to the end of this day to work on the shield as the radiation continues to rise on this scale. Armstrong, there's one more point left on this work track to research the orb. While they've all been caught up on something, do you want to be the person who checks off that last box
To scan it with the old
and
ships.
finish the last bit of actual homework on the orb?
Like we were meaning to search this with the ship sensors, but we haven't quite got around to that.
Yeah, I mean,
Think
as you were
we need
doing,
to-
you
It's still
accidentally
compiling the data.
you triggered stuff.
triggered it.
That's what I mean. Compile the data then.
Yeah,
Roll
compile
the
the data.
last die to compile the data. Work with the ship's computers.
Yeah,
as an
and I
assist
can.
roll?
I'll assist.
Computers. Is it is it sensors and computers? Are those two separate things you can add together?
Advanced sensor suites.
No, here on the stats.
Oh,
Sorry, it's sensors and science.
Yeah.
But you sensors and science or computers and science, they're both a 10 because you want to compile the data. And in that case, it is a 13 that you're rolling under
Okay, I'm
when the
going
ship
to
is assisting
use
you.
experimental tech because these are the new. So
can I assist with computers?
You can assist Armstrong with computers.
Yeah.
You get 1 die.
Yeah.
Armstrong gets 2 die, and the ship gets 1 die. The ship is rolling under 13. Armstrong
have
is
one-
rolling under. I'm gonna say, is it sensors and reason? Science and reason.
So I'm using my science and reason.
Yeah.
And then
And
I'm using.
Can I use more than one talent in a roll?
You can only use 1 focus to get you that extra die.
One focus, but can I use a talent? Because I have.
No, well, you'd have to tell me what the talent is and how it's been. I've given you the rules printed on a sheet.
Yeah. Well, I want to use my technical expertise since this is using the
Yeah.
sensors, and it'll let me re-roll if I need to.
Sweet.
One
So
die.
you can use that 1 to re-roll 1 of the die after you roll.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Give me 1 die and I'll roll control and engineering.
Yeah.
So it's a 15. And that's a 13.
okay,
it's
so you
pass.
have a success if he
okay,
succeeds
and
in
I'm
his roll.
using engineering and reason.
I was saying science and reason.
Science and reason.
Because
okay,
he's
so,
helping you with the computers, but you're actually the one looking at the data.
So that's my. Do I get 2 or 3?
You get
2.
you get 3 die because you're using your focus, correct?
right.
Which is the focus called?
Experimental tech.
Yeah, so you can use that.
Okay.
This is definitely experimental, whatever the
Yeah.
engineer
So
cropped
this
up.
is getting under 12 here.
And then you've also got your ship assisting you with the final 5th die. And the ship you're rolling under 13.
right.
Do it.
Okay. So. Oh,
That was an 18.
You can re-roll 1 though.
I can re-roll.
You can
Is
re-roll,
that
yeah.
the one I can re-roll? Fan-fucking-tastic. 9. Yes.
Nice.
Very good. So you generate a little bit more momentum that I'll add into the pool. You've got a nice little momentum as we go into our final chapter of the hour. And the how many successes did you roll?
4.
Was yours a success as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
were all 5 a success?
Oh no. Sorry, I was including his.
So 4 successes. You easily get that last check off. And
Check off!
Oh, yeah.
while you're working,
Whistles.
you're sitting there, and a wave of horror comes over you as you're looking at this, and you recognize the signal. You have been going through Starship Designs is one of your focus. And you studied stuff that was found and disseminated around when you worked at the academy and you were learning how to fly ships. And you remember the difference between the different civilizations, that most people use warp core technology, dilithium crystals. But there's a handful of people out there that power their engines with quantum singularities.
Jesus, Christ. Okay.
Son of a bitch.
Everyone else here is right now building a shield to redirect the energy back into a contained quantum singularity in Laboratory 12.
Oh, fucking.
Maybe a bad call.
And you're the only one who knows.
Boop boop.
Did the thing you're doing, stop doing the thing!
So they're about to turn like the deflector dish back in on itself and redirect the radiation energies into
Yeah.
what is essentially a bomb.
Yeah. Lieutenant Commander Monroe, stop what you're doing.
Why?
I figured out what's inside the orb.
Okay.
It's a singularity. Do not
It's quantum singularity.
quantum singularity.
Big difference.
Do not.
Sorry.
Do
And
not.
now that you know what
Oh
you're looking
shit!
at,
Seesaw activity on the orb.
and now that you know what you're looking at, this thing is breaking down and it's losing stability. And remember how it had a hard time getting a transporter lock when it was on the Klingon vessel?
Shit, if we launched that into the fucking wormhole, it would collapse the wormhole indefinitely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh,
So you're
shit.
down there in engineering when you get the word in from Armstrong, and you got Haas with your side.
Yeah.
And Haas is like, he's acting more and more like foggy and confused. Like the details in his mind aren't connecting anymore with what he's seeing on your screens and what you're showing him, what you're telling him.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is impossible. This has been in our families and our generations. As I have, you know.
Did your town happen to be powered by this? The temple that you lived in, the shields that protected you from the neutron star.
No, we didn't. They had limited power on the planet. It was geothermal is what powered everything on the temple. The relic was kept in a place of reverence, where it would present to us visions, which is how we found the technology to come to that planet in the first place.
Quantum singularity, if you interact with it the right way, could allow you to see across multiple timelines and dimensions. Which could be giving him a separate set of memories, allowing him to believe that he's been living out here for thousands of years when he hasn't.
Obtain information momentum.
Sure, yeah, let's do that.
Volsar, your chief officer, I'm just going to give you an answer here from him because you asked him to look into this stuff and to do more scans.
Oh yeah, we haven't got back from him yet.
And
on
you've
the scans
got
that he
you've
did.
got a lot of momentum here.
Them
And
deep scans. Yeah, I'll spend two.
He comes down to engineering. He sees you with Haas, and he goes like, Captain, aside for a moment. Brings you aside, and he shows you scans. I believe what they're saying is the truth, but I believe that what they remember may not be real. If these scans are correct, and it's hard to tell with Bajoran brains, they're similar to humanoids, but they're different in a way with some of their telepathy.
Yeah, you.
If I didn't know any better, and I'd have to look at more examples of others who have been tampered with, I don't think their memories are real.
They've been brainwashed.
Spooky.
I'm gonna ask Haas if he wants to help
The
me
ship
get these.
red alert sensors go off automatically.
We have to get this out.
The radiation in Laboratory 12 is continuing to increase, and now the ship's internal sensors have automatically gone to red alert.
It's automatically triggered. Oh,
We need to get this off the ship.
Can we eject that whole lab?
Turning
No.
to Haas, just being like, if we don't get this off the ship, it's gonna kill us all.
And he says, let my people help.
How? How are we? We just want to teleport it off into space.
We gotta use the transporters as the only way because we can't eject the lab as much as.
Well, it's a modular lab, so like really we could, but we don't want to.
No,
don't
and
have
it's
to.
not like ejecting the warp
modular
core.
in that way.
Yeah.
It's not like ejecting the warp core.
It's modular
We need
as in
that.
it's like it's a set of the week that we can build for this episode.
Captain, please let them help.
Okay.
You've already tied your transporters and sensors into scanning this room, so it's going to mean uncoupling all of those from themselves in order for you to get the transporters operational
I
anyway.
can reverse engineer my
And
reverse
you just
engineer.
might, I mean, maybe you've got the time to do that, but maybe you don't.
All right. He turns to Haas. Do it.
So he's going to get his people, and he wants to just take the containment unit, put it in a shuttle, and put as much distance between the horizon as they can.
That's too dangerous.
He brought this aboard your ship. He'll take it off your ship.
We don't need to do that. We have another way that we can do this in which you survive and we all get answers.
We do?
Do we?
Yeah. You
Get it off the ship.
We barely
use the
got it off the
transporters to
ship
get it
last-
off the ship. He wants to put it in a
Blast it
shuttle
into
and then
space.
all of them manually drive it out.
Yeah, but the transporter is connected in with the sensors right now, attached to that room. We have to uncouple that.
I swear to God, I will eject this part of the fucking spaceship if it means we leave these people alive.
That's called saucer separation.
No, that's thousands of people in the saucer.
It might take us quite a while to do this.
Captain, the way that we were able to get a transporter lock last time was I grabbed it. I shouldn't have grabbed it, but I grabbed it. You were able
You're
to
able to
lock
use a
onto
pattern
me.
enhancer.
Pattern enhancer as well. So, if nothing else, they could take it. They could grab it and put it onto the shuttle.
I can quickly put pattern
Lieutenant
engines
Commander
all around the
Monroe.
lab.
Lieutenant Commander
You're
Monroe,
wasting time
uncouple
debating.
the transporter systems and get them ready for use. Get
Okay.
these other people together and have them move it onto a shuttle. In the event that that's not done in time, then we'll launch it out into space via an autopilot.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but in the
Absolutely.
meantime, they can assist us in moving this equipment down there in its unstable state.
Yeah, you can spend momentum, Steve, to increase the speed of your task, so you
Yeah.
can do it in the time necessary because
Heck
it won't
yes.
take too many intervals. And you have, you've got the assist of your crew and the ships to work on the engineering control.
Am I using the ship or my own skills for this?
To work this kind of speed, to get it done, I'm going to even say this is a difficulty 3, so it's not going to be an easy task.
Ensign Armstrong, Lieutenant Bowe, assist them however you can.
Okay, so you got them down in engineering, and you got your engineering crew. So you'll have your 5 dice, an assist from a player, an assist from your crew, an assist from your
So what
ship.
am I? I'm rolling for my own.
You're
engineering,
rolling.
Right?
You're rolling 3 dice for engineering control.
Okay.
You're rolling 1 dice for the ship, which is sensors, which is what the transporters are tied into.
10
and engineering.
Engineering, so 13. So,
So-
how many am I rolling for the ship? 2?
You're rolling 1 from the ship.
1 for the ship.
Under
okay.
13.
All right, so I'm gonna roll for
3
the
from yourself, and then Armstrong is going to assist as he sees.
I'm gonna roll for the ship.
As these guys are doing this, I tell them I'm going to be up on the command deck on the helm. I have an idea.
Ah, shit.
Okay.
The ship failed.
The ship failed. By
Yeah.
how much? Was it a 19?
It was a 19. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a complication that's going to be thrown into.
Okay.
Sparks begin to go as you cross a wire.
Yeah, hit the
and
spark generator.
The transporters are losing power. In fact, you will have to redirect
You know what?
power from another ship's systems in order to get the transporters operational.
Screw it.
on time.
I'm using my reverse engineering to give myself an extra die. So it's now 4. I gotta
And
get under
I got
15.
my experimental tech.
Because you're still moving at warp 9, by the way. Like,
help
all
out
this is
here.
going
Okay.
on. Like, you have to
So
come
I'm
out of
gonna
warp
use,
in order to pull up.
engineering.
We are going to have to come out of warp in order to
Alright,
actually
so I'm going under
eject the thing.
15.
All right, so when I
We'll
get,
pull out
All
of
right,
warp and let
success.
this
Cool.
shuttlecraft
Awesome. So we got
just
one.
go.
because I actually have a maneuver for this.
Discord's like, oh god, Conal has an idea.
Yeah.
Are you
Okay.
are you rolling anything or?
Roll the die, but hold on in secret. Write down the number of successes, so I want to hear what's going on up on the bridge.
Okay.
At the same
I
time.
drop us out of warp
Yeah.
so that we can eject a shuttle because, like, we can't let shuttles out of the ship while we're at warp fucking 9.
It's not easy.
It's like I'm
Exactly.
gonna drop down to a $120 and roll. Like, no.
You got some high numbers there.
I got 3 successes, including
You got an 18.
including an Armstrong's.
You rolled an 18 there.
Oh, that's an 18.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so that
I
was
thought that
not a
was an eight.
success. That's a complication.
So I got 2 successes.
Okay, so you got 2 successes and you got 2 complications because one
Can
of the
we use
complications from the
momentum
ship.
to take some of the complications away?
No, the
gonna use up
momentum.
enough
You've
dice,
already
right?
Wait.
You've already rolled more dice than you're allowed.
shit,
You're
I
only allowed
can't-
to roll 5. You rolled 6. So I'm just like
Wait. Where's the stats for the ship?
stats for the ship are
Under
over.
here.
No, it's not. It's just the.
Those
I
are
only
the
get-
stats for the ship.
That's the stats of the ship right there.
Those
You're
are the-
looking at it.
No. The
Oh, the sheet with
talents.
the,
ship's
with the
talents.
talents.
Yes, sorry.
Ship talents.
That's it right there.
Schofield, what's your plan?
Well, the plan is if we can't get the transporters to work properly, we'll put it inside of a shuttle. We'll basically push the shuttle out, and then I'm going to use the Schofield maneuver to jump the ship basically a short distance ahead of where it is.
Okay.
Like to prep the engines
Okay.
so that all we have to do is go hup, and then
Okay.
I can kick the warp, and we can
All right.
basically stutter it
All right.
forward.
What roles here are we going to work in with the ship? Can I see the ship stats here for Schofield?
Do I need to run
First,
up and
so-
drive?
I could use engineering and control.
So this
right.
this works either way. If we're beaming them off the ship, or if we're using a shuttle to get off the ship, is to then jump the ship further away from range.
Yeah, just to,
So
to
how
spin
many
up
successes
the
engineering did you get? Because you got a couple of complications along
spin
the
up
way.
the
We had 2
FTL.
successes.
You had 2 successes, and I said it was a difficulty of 3.
Yeah, I thought that maybe there was something that could be able to lower that difficulty
So
down. but it's
engineering
advanced
calls up
sensor
to the
suite just
bridge and is like, Captain, we need more time. There's
We
not
don't have the time.
We can get it going, but the transporters are down and they're blowing out the systems. And on top of it, you're starting to take stress on your other systems as it's not just radiation anymore. It's gravimetric disturbances as whatever's in this thing is beginning to lose containment.
Fuck. All right, and you guys are currently in the process of moving it to a shuttle
Yes.
while they were doing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and as you're moving them down the hallway, you can see like the walls are starting to buckle a bit as it's going, like it's starting to ripple things around as they're sending out these gravimetric disturbances.
Okay, do you have an ETA on that?
As soon as possible.
Do they have like an idea as to how much time?
If that's the plan we're going for, they arrive in shuttle bay.
They arrive at the shuttle bay and they're like 5 minutes or something like that.
Now, I have a problem that I'm presenting to you here. Is we remember what happened on the Klingon ship. It drained power from the ship. Mm-hmm. You want to roll for the Schofield maneuver. But the complication with the gravimetric disturbances is extending it from 18 to 20, not just 20. If you roll your high die too high, I roll these 6s. And if I roll a 5 or a 6, you've lost power to your engines. So it's still, a lot of it's left up to chance, not completely up to me.
Yep. No, that's fine. We can do that. He literally like just like after they're like, we're getting in the shuttle bay, we're putting in the shuttle now.
Systems around the ship are starting to fluctuate, and like lights are starting to go.
Switches his comm back over to engineering as Lieutenant Commander Adam Monroe. I need you to spin up the warp drive.
Okay. Where's the ship?
So
We are going to try the Schofield maneuver.
Monroe, you'll be rolling an assist from engineering. You'll be rolling 1 die. Yeah, these are all blank ships in case we ended up creating.
Yeah. Where's the ship?
Actually, no. This would technically be the Picard maneuver.
He's got it over there, but here I'll just hold on to it so I can just tell because everyone's gonna be looking.
Picard
at the
maneuver is
ship
very
one time.
difficult to do in a Galaxy class.
Yes, it is.
Schofield is the one rolling with the ship.
Okay.
You're just
I'm just
assisting
assisting, okay.
his maneuver with your engineering and control.
Yep. Okay.
Does that work for you?
Can I
Yes.
drive from
So
engineering?
roll 1 die. Don't tell me if you succeed or not just yet. We're gonna hold off.
Can
Keep
I
it
use
suspended.
a
You're
focus?
just because you're just an assist roll. You don't
Okay.
get additional die.
I still got all those.
Oh yeah, no, we got a lot of.
Yeah. It's a 5.
That's actually
We're supposed to keep it a secret.
Sorry. I just got excited.
I might actually spend the threat points I've got to
Oh, do it.
have the ships instead of I don't have to roll for it.
Oh fuck yeah.
So you now got to roll. You got to roll. You
All right,
want to do the
so
Schofield maneuver. So,
I am
so do
trying
you
to
go over
do
to
that,
Armstrong,
yeah.
put your hand on his shoulder, and it's like, I'll take the con?
Well, because he's down helping them get this core into
so you
the
go,
shuttle.
you go up to the crewman who's standing in
I
Armstrong
just-
Station and goes like,
just put a hand on his shoulder
like,
and go, step aside, son. I need
Crewman.
to do something.
I got this.
I've got a plan. And you sit down,
Can we crack your knuckles? Does the joystick come up?
Adjust the seat.
Does the joystick come up, please?
that's...
I've got a plan.
You never remember
so,
this.
so you sit down. You're going to give me a...
Why do you change the lumbar support? Almost exclusively the lumbar
is
support.
a con and control or con and daring? Your daring's pretty high.
That's a daring.
I would go
That's a
with
daring.
daring.
That's your
Daring
maneuver.
and con or engineering?
Con, because you're driving.
Con
Yeah.
is maneuvering
But
the
it's
ship.
slow.
Oh, so control. Well, what does con stand for?
It's just a I don't know. It's a naval. It's con is for the navigation. It stands for navigation.
Are we at impulse or are we still at warp?
We've dropped down to
I'm
full
fucking
stop.
awful.
Okay.
Alright,
The ship's
well.
impulse drives are more powerful than on most ships. When the flight controller succeeds of the impulse, attack pattern, evasive action, or ramming speed task, they may spend
This is an
2
evasive
momentum to increase the difficulty of attacks against the ship by 1
Yep.
until the start of the flight controller's next turn due to the ship's rapid
You
acceleration.
can spend that 2 momentum to lower the difficulty of this roll because your impulse engines have been improved on the ship.
Let's do
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So
All right, let's spend the 2 momentum. I'm going to be using so con and daring as well as warp core theory.
And Bo, I'll let
or
you
no, sorry,
roll the assist for the ship,
Yep.
which will be
I've got evasive action as a focus.
Engines and
So
engines and
This seems like a
Con?
pretty evasive
Yeah.
action.
so that's
Yeah.
a 12.
yeah.
So roll under 12.
So you got to roll under 12. I got to get under 11. I'm using evasive action as well as my
Yeah, so roll-
as a
roll
focus
3
on rolling
die.
3. Fuck.
Do you have a value you can call in at this point? I mean, you're taking control.
Yeah.
Self-reliant.
You've got 1 more determination point. That gives
I
you a
do.
guaranteed
All
one.
right, I'm gonna blow it. I'm gonna blow
that
self-reliant
third die
a determination
turns,
point
So you get a die now that's
At-
automatically
at
1.
1. Okay, so I have an automatic success.
So that's one of those die is now a 1 because you only get 5 die to roll. And we've got 1 die from
4.
engineering.
Oh, and then
we've got
5
1
from
die from the
engineering.
ship.
All right,
So roll under 12.
1.
can
I
do
got
it.
1
That's an
Eight.
success.
Yep.
You got 1 success. You got 2 success. Did you get a success?
Yes, I did.
That's 3
3
success.
plus
And
the
the-
daring I
guaranteed
spent
success.
as a guaranteed success, and then that's an advantage as well.
So
Yes!
how many did you get? I have 4 threat.
Oh, son of a bitch.
We got
One
four.
for me.
We got four.
One,
The Schofield maneuver works.
2, 3, 4, and then the advantage.
So what is the Schofield maneuver? You're doing a
I
short
was gonna
warp jump
do
away
it's
from the
very
shuttle?
very technically it's a Picard maneuver,
Yeah.
which is like spinning up the engines first and then waiting into the exact right moment to punch it and moving a short distance.
Yeah, it's like get the elastic band real taut and then snap it.
Yeah.
So you get the shuttlecraft as soon as it's clear of the
the
shuttle bay.
second it's clear of the bay, we just go.
Because you're just
bonk,
no one's
and-
in the shuttlecraft. You're just
Yeah.
Right.
kind of pushing it out the door, just letting it go.
He's
and
setting the ship into ludicrous speed.
So
Think about when they punch the fucking FTL in
Yeah,
Firefly,
yeah.
where they like spin it up and then they wait and punch it, and it's like pa, and we move just enough that we're out of range of whatever the fuck this could go.
my threat, I'm going to throw in as breaches to the ship.
Shit.
The ship's going to take actual damage.
All right.
As you do, you're able to get away, but you're pulling now against the a micro black hole that is starting to gain in power. So the escape velocity has become all the more problematic, and now you got a small little black hole right outside the port of your the aft port of your main shuttle bay as you're immediately going to warp. So you're like, and it kind of like takes
some of the paint
ship,
off.
but you feel the whole ship kind of groan and then snap, and the inertial dampeners break, and everyone kind of goes flying, and
I can
things are
fix it.
exploding.
I can fix it.
Crew, people all over the ship are taking, you're getting injury
There's
reports
injuries.
from old decks. You're brace for impact kind of a thing. On the ship status here, we've got a
Can I
couple
say
of,
that I went on comms and yelled "brace yourselves" before we did this?
the engines are going to take a breach,
Brace
the
for
sensors, the
impact.
structure takes some
The
breaches.
comms itself are broken, though, so everyone heard break yourself.
We're not the fucking cheat commandos.
So then just as that happens, you
better break yourself.
when that happens here, I'm just gonna. We're reaching the end of this episode. You make the distance. You do that 1 second of warp you need just as the shuttle goes. And it goes to explode.
Yep.
And as you're going, as you come out to the end and you come out the other side of the shockwave, you can see almost silhouetted in the flash of this quantum explosion, a silhouette of another ship.
Well, yeah, because it's the Picard maneuver. We see
Not
our
your ship.
No, there's
No,
like
there's
Not your
Romulans
ship.
behind us.
There's-
and
it's a
shit.
cloaked
Yes.
vessel that briefly is still in cloak.
Is it fucking
But you
huge?
can see the shadow being cast from this explosion.
Is it fucking huge?
It's fucking huge.
So it's
about,
a
It's been following us the whole
Yeah.
time.
it's about
Do
the
I
size
recognize a Romulan ship?
of, you recognize a Romulan ship.
Ah, damn
Yeah,
it!
it's the same size of the Galaxy class ship that you're in. It would be, of course.
It would be bigger, wouldn't it?
No, the Derek's class Warbird is
okay.
of equal size to a Galaxy class. If you'd had any other ship, you would have been dwarfed.
Yeah.
But
Just a little one.
you know they're there. You're not sure if they know you know they're there. And your ship has just been crippled. The shields are down. Engines are
Well,
disabled.
let's-
You can spend minor actions to get the engines going. You've taken some structural integrity damage. Injuries coming in from old decks.
Yep.
Field
Okay.
medic this.
I'm going to use a value. If you can break it, fix it. I can fix everything. So I'm going to use a determination point.
I mean, to put us 2 days from Deep Space Nine puts us a friggin' long way from Romulan territory.
Yeah.
They're deep inside. They shouldn't be anywhere near you. I would say here, to make it,
It's deep inside.
there's Deep Space Nine. Here's Federation territory.
Balls
Just
deep.
left it. You're near the Calandra system, which isn't technically Federation space, but it's definitely not Romulan space. They would.
Well, can we do the space equivalent of snapping a pic?
Oh, your sensors picked up the shadow.
Okay.
It was a blip, and the blip's gone.
But we had a shadow,
But you
and
saw it on the
we
main screen
definitely
because you were
saw that on
watching
the
the
main
explosion
fucking
on the
screen.
viewer screen. Boo.
And there's just
Okay.
like a whoa. I'm just like, oh, what the fuck?
They've probably got traces of radiation on it. We could use the sensors to be able to scan it, because it's probably still cloaked. We could follow it.
Basically, scan the large black spot in the radiation.
Yeah.
Okay, first, before we get into doing that, let's get our let's pretend for a moment we didn't see them, and let's get into functional order first, and then
Okay.
we'll work our way forward from there.
So that essentially it's two tasks. I'm repairing the ship and
playing
using the
dead.
sensors. So I think
Basically-
maybe, Bo, you use
Yeah.
the sensors.
Pretend like I didn't see nothing, because
To be
if I
able to track
suddenly
them.
raise shields, then they're going to start asking questions, and they might fire.
Yeah. Bo, you use sensors to be able to track them. I'll fix the ship.
I'm going to turn around to Tactical Officer Steve and just be like, yeah, just keep an eye out on that particular part of space right there. If you see any kind of weapon systems activate or whatever, be ready to punch the shields to max. Don't put them up, but be ready. And that's all I say to Security Officer Steve, because he controls that shit, doesn't he? He's tactical officer.
Yeah.
Just be like, keep an eye on that area.
He's on
out
the archway
window.
right behind the captain's chair.
Just, like, don't scan in that area, but like, just keep an eye in that area.
And he looks down on the time and says, goodness.
Goodness. Fuck. All right,
So your
cool.
ship is working at less than optimal right now.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to spend too long. There's an ending here. Is there anything you want? Do you want to hail the ship? Do you want to just get away? Do you want
No, I think
to
you're
talk
right
to
the
the
first time.
Bentakans?
Pretend like we don't see them and just follow them, see what they do. Because
Does
they
Discord
obviously
have some
didn't
ideas
really
for us?
expect to have a quantum explosion happen near their ship.
Also, we can't fight them right now.
We really can't, but the Romulans are very technically our allies.
Or
Technically.
we could.
allies is a thin
Yeah, I
word
know.
with the Romulans.
That's why I said very technically.
I think what you meant to say was all lies. They're technically all
they're
lies.
technically all allies.
I like that.
Yeah.
No,
Or
okay. Do it, Bones.
We could broadcast. We could broadcast on all frequencies and say that we know you're there.
No.
We will.
I want to broadcast on all frequencies, so I couldn't help but notice that after the balls destroying explosion that we just set off in
broadcast
space.
on all frequencies.
And
Well,
maybe,
you're a long way from home.
and maybe
Yeah, there we
try,
go, there we go, that
maybe
works.
try to distract them
Figure
while
I
I'm trying
see
to
you.
rapidly fix the ship.
Yeah.
Okay, done. What do I need to roll?
Captain.
Open up
What
in
are
a
you trying to
conversation.
do? Do you want to? You're trying to send out a signal?
No,
Trying
he's
to fix the
he's trying to get the
Oh,
ship.
you're
I'm
just
trying to
doing-
get the ship, repair the ship quickly while he's distracting the Romulans.
You can spend momentum and do what does it be? Another engineering and it would depend. Are you ordering people to do repairs to the ship? Because
I'm ordering my
so
team
that
to be able
might
to do to jump
engineering.
in
That might
action.
be engineering and presence. They actually do have a section here on ship repairs.
Get the engines fixed first if you can. If the the engines didn't take damage.
No,
The
that's-
engines took damage.
engines?
Oh, the
Of course they
engines
did.
Because you put a lot of stress on those engines.
Fuck.
well. QR. I'm just looking up.
Oh, and the sensors.
If you want to do this, let's do it right. The right tools for the right job. Repair, reputation, Rigelian, repairing damage, 230.
Let's go to page 230 and have a look at how to repair damage to our
Well,
ship.
because there's
how to
different
repair
kinds of like if you're doing
Rigelian.
the repair yourself versus if you're telling the crew to do the repair for you. And I know it's 940.
We have like a billion people on board, so
Yeah, you got a billion people on board.
fucking everyone here.
Everyone grab
Repairing damage. The
Band-Aids.
ship has been damaged. Task can be attempted by and repair that damage. These will not be full repairs. This would take time and resources not ideally available.
Fair.
But
Just wanted
starships
to
are
get it up
designed
and
with
running.
redundancies and backups. The damage control task listed on page 224 is a typical way of repairing a damage system, representing an officer setting. That's what we're looking for. Damage. It's. I mean, normally this would be done in combat, but I'm just looking it up because it's here. It's presence and engineering.
Okay.
With the difficulty determined by the system chosen. If the system is restored to function, it can be used again normally. So the difficulty increases for each point I've marked in. So for engines and structure, the difficulty is 2, and for sensors, the difficulty is 1. And you would do engineering,
I'd rather repair try to repair the most damaged system. Because that's
which is engines and structure,
yeah.
are equally damaged.
I'd pick one. Engines, because
Okay.
we might need to get out of here
So
real
engineering and presence to repair the engines.
quick. Okay. Can I use a volume?
Can you?
If I break it, I fix it? If you can break it, you can fix
Yeah,
it?
so that will use up one of your determination points.
Yes.
So you don't have any more determination points.
Okay.
But you automatically get 1 dice at 1.
Oh, okay, so I got an automatic success.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now you get your 2 dice to roll, unless you got a focus to throw into that.
Not really. I
Okay,
mean,
roll
it's
2
either
dice.
computers or
Can I
reverse
help
engineering.
out with my team dynamics?
How can you help? Are you still you're still down helping
I'm
him with
still stuck
engineering?
down
so
in
roll
engineering.
team dynamics. You're actually going to help man up the repair crew yourself.
Okay, so I'll use engineering and.
You could use command and presence if you're ordering
command
the
and
repair
presence.
crew.
Okay, that's 13. Is that a 7 or a 1? That's
a
a 7. Son of a.
All right, I had one.
Sorry.
I had
You
one.
had one automatic success, and you rolled another success.
Yes, I have one success, so that's 3 successes total.
Okay, great. So the engines are operational. They're back up and running. Any damage done to them that further on can be fixed in Starbase, but for the time being, you get a call from engineer. You got engines, Captain.
Okay, so then I'm going to turn on the comm system.
You just walk over and
Just doop.
Can I attempt to talk to them for you?
Do you want to talk to
I'm
the
going to
Romulans?
attempt to talk to them in Romulan.
you want to speak to them in Romulan. I mean, you're the captain.
Well, they know it's a Federation ship.
Yeah, you know what?
What do you want?
I'll allow
What
this.
do you want me to say?
That could throw
allow it.
a promo for a
You're
loop.
just still sitting in the helm chair, like, yeah, I'm feeling silly. Why not?
You feel pretty good after doing your maneuver.
I feel pretty good after pulling off the Picard maneuver and saving the day. Holy shit!
All right, so
Good team effort, though. Fuck, that was awesome.
you open the channels. Yeah.
Open a channel, just be like, okay, so tell them that you're far away from home.
Daring or presence? Do you think is more?
I think this is daring.
Totally
This is definitely
daring.
daring.
This is not
and then-
by the book.
Yeah, I don't think
command.
that there's a.
I'm not breaking any
Command.
rules.
Command.
Yeah, that's got to be
All right.
Command
command.
and daring.
So 13 extra die, right?
Yep, you get one extra die if you're speaking him in Romulan.
I am going to, with my home among the stars, I am going to speak in Romulan, saying, "You are far away from home."
Aren't you out in the boonies, huh?
Don't you get another extra one?
Funny run into you.
How
in
many
the
successes
sticks.
was that?
2 successes.
So you put out the call, and you get a blip on the sensors as a response is being returned, and it just fills the bridge room like a high pitched frequency. Pee.
Oh, they're peeing
Is
on us.
anyone in the same room as the Pentakins?
Well, where were
Well,
they?
is Haas still down in engineering, or were any of them with you?
Fuck right off. I imagine if
engineering.
you're back up on the bridge, then they came with you.
At least Haas would have come.
At least Haas.
So
would have
Haas
been there.
followed you up onto the bridge. The others remain down at the shuttle bay to watch it go out the door, and the others are presumably either in their quarters or helping with the repair crew. In the bridge, Haas begins to clutch at his ears and is falling down to the ground as this signal seems to be doing something that is killing him.
Okay, so very quickly, if this is a sonic signal designed to activate some kind of like subconscious whatever,
It's
kill
a
switch
90s.
thing,
It's like a cheesy sci-fi show. The earpiece on him is glowing red.
I'm gonna try to shoot it with my motherfucking phaser.
Shoot their what?
That thing's glowing red on him. Yeah, literally, I'm just gonna fucking cowboy this from my seat, just go like
Okay,
bang.
well, that's daring and security.
Wow.
Jeez.
Shoot their ear off. Okay.
Hand phaser.
You really do not like Bajorans.
They're called Bjorns.
I think
You say that in wild.
I think I would know.
And later, I'm going to go yogging. It's a soft J.
I'm gonna go yogging, but first I gotta drive there in my
I
Yeep.
would love it. I would love it as you fire. It's like they're called Bjorns or it's a soft J.
Can I try to intercept?
Yes.
I totally want to intercept. Kind hand.
Okay.
Just like-
This, if you want to, that's an opposed roll.
Yeah.
So for every success you roll, you can negate one of his successes. You rolled 3 successes. Captain, no.
Captain, my captain.
I think they're fighting again.
I know.
I'm using.
Strong.
Strong paw?
You want to use your strong paw as a determination point?
I absolutely do.
Oh no,
Strong paw.
sorry. Your values.
That's the one I'm.
Kind hand, closed
against.
fist as a
Yeah.
value, and then
Yeah.
you can use a determination point to automatically get a 1.
Oh
And-
shit! So that's
And
one.
so, and then you have hand to hand as your
Hand-to-hand,
focus.
yes.
So here,
Oh shit, son!
what do you? So this would be
So my goal.
fitness,
Yeah.
fitness and security.
My goal is basically to dive, and if I can grab the thing off his ear, I do. But mostly
To
it's
get it off before I
it's
shoot.
mostly to avoid the phaser fire.
Well, it's just a phaser. It's not gonna. No, I can kill him.
Did you set it to stun?
No, I succeeded.
Okay, so
Yeah, I said it to stun.
you
What are
take the
talking
stun
about?
blast
Yep.
from the captain, but not before you snatch the thing out of your hand, and as you pull it out, it's burning like into your hand.
Second
And
time I grabbed something I shouldn't have.
Literally, Captain's like, quit grabbing shit!
There's reports coming from
Jordan's
all
really
over the
handling
ship. That is happening to all of them. And
Okay.
immediately
gonna, like, down to
communication
the
lines are
thing.
still open.
Yeah, remove the
This is like,
earpieces! Remove the earpieces now!
It's hard to
Yeah.
even talk over. It's just this really high pitched.
Yelling that into the comm system down to the shuttle bay.
Wait,
Remove your earpieces now.
What do you want to do, Steve?
Are you speaking Romulan?
I want to put up a dampening field to block out all sonic waves that are hitting
Why
the
don't you
ship.
just turn off the comm channel?
Okay, I'll shut
Yeah.
off.
Sorry, I was just like, I know you're all thinking a little too complicated.
Well, I thought we had done
We're at
that.
the end of the
It was a
episode.
simple thing.
You said the return
dumb-
thing. I
dumb
thought that was
captain
being
they have.
like
They sent
bombarding our ship with
you
that.
had open channels. You had sent out a response. This was their response.
Oh, for
It
fuck's
was like a
sake.
kill signal.
Okay, well, I gotta shut off the comm signal then. I didn't know that was coming in through the comm signal.
Sorry,
I thought we would have tried.
That is.
Sorry for almost shooting.
To be fair, this was all happening quite suddenly, and everyone was caught off guard.
Oh, that's okay.
And then shut that thing off.
Yeah, boop,
You
and
turn
then
off the comms.
see if the people down in the shuttle bay are okay. Is Haas alive?
Haas is alive, and some of the other crew members were able to save the rest. Let's see, you have 3 momentum left, and I have 4 threat left. So I'm going to say 4 of the Bajorans died. 3 of them were rescued, and the others are recovering in
Sort of
med
in,
bay.
like, medium
So they got
condition.
like half the team. As the ship has now come to a stop, you're obviously not heading over to Deep Space Nine right now. There's no more signals from the Romulans. You don't know if they're there or if they're following. As they're brought to the medical bay now, obviously not under duress, and Rempel's able to do proper scans on them. It's clear that their minds were tampered with, that they've got wounds all over them from whatever has been done to them. They look like they've been prisoners of war. They look like they've undergone extreme stress, and their brains have been conditioned with similar to there's something in their in the ship's records to Commander LaForge on the Enterprise.
Oh, motherfucking
from
Captain
something similar that had
Smugjaw's
been done
got
to
some
them.
shit to answer for back on the. Ooh.
Oh, you're talking about Ambassador Varrock?
Yes.
Yeah.
Back on Narendra Station.
Fucking limp dick piece of shit. Oh, he's gonna get some. He's gonna get an earful. If they don't like the Federation talking, ooh, he's gonna hate me.
Here's the thing, though. It's the Tal Shiar, right? They're the secret.
They're the secret police of the
secret
Romulan
police.
Empire.
Like this is like right up their MO. This is their playbook. This may not have been like of the Romulan council.
He may not
approval.
have known that they did this.
So the Romulans, like the Romulan Council, may not have known that this was
Correct.
even happening.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, this is
They
like
wouldn't-
they're like the KGB.
They would condone it.
Why don't
They
you
wouldn't
open up the
admit to it.
comm channel and just broadcast out in case whoever's out there is listening? Tell them what you know.
Just gonna open up the
Wanna
comm
open
channel
up again?
First of
Goad
all,
them. Goad
not
them.
cool. Second,
You didn't get them all.
yeah, a bunch of them
We know what you've
survived. We know what you've done to them. Third, not cool. Fuck.
We're gonna blast
View
you to
screen comes up.
smithereens.
A view screen comes up. Okay. Okay, so I'm just like, shit, I had something for this. What was I going to say?
Not in his ambassadorial robes. But I mean, let's not be subtle
the
about it.
motherfucking guy
Tal
from...
Shiar, motherfucking guy.
Yep.
There's Varrock standing in front of the view screen.
Tal Shiar.
Is Varrock's even his real name? And he
Piece of
just
shit.
seems like he's not even stressed about it. And he goes, interesting accusations you would have, Commander.
Yeah.
But of course you have no proof. So
Other
threaten
than-
me again.
Other than the signal you just sent to our ship, which activated kill switch devices attached to these people,
We received the same signal. I wonder from where.
it came from your ship.
Oh, please, Captain, we should work together. We are allies.
Son of a bitch. Blast him.
I am sure you have an explanation for your position out here in space following us.
Of course, we're responding to a distress signal.
What distress signal?
We've been following a signal picked up from HR 626 for several days now. Seems you've come across something quite dangerous, Commander. How
They
can we
knew
be
we
of
had it.
assistance?
We contacted the Starbase. They knew we had it.
Yeah, I know. We contacted the starbase and told
Why
them
would they
about
need
what
to
was
follow?
going on with 626. You would, obviously, the Romulans would know what we were doing. So it seems strange that you would need to use something as thin as a distress signal to explain your presence out here. You could have just said you were following your interests. Come now.
Don't bullshit a bullshitter.
And he says, it's an interesting fiction you've written, Commander.
An interesting fiction for you as well.
Then I suggest we go back to tell our tales.
Indeed.
He ends commission. The ship decloaks as it begins to just fly away.
Motherfucking distress signal my dick.
Right?
All right.
As time passes, because let's wrap up this episode.
You drop these guys off at Deep Space Nine
You drop
anyway.
these guys off at Deep Space Nine anyways. The Klingons meet up with the Chemtech, the ship that was picking them up.
Sweet.
You get a word. Ambassador
tell them
Varrock
how-
was found dead in a bathtub and never arrived at Narendra Station.
Get the fuck what?
Starfleet intelligence believes the man
wasn't
you
him.
interacted with was an Agent Tamarek, a rogue Tal Shiar agent that the government has disavowed several years ago.
Rogue my ass. He was on orders of the Tal Shiar.
Sorry, did we just talk to the Star Trek equivalent of the Winter fucking Soldier?
Yeah.
I mean,
The Sokovia Accords?
the Romulans have a way of constantly disavowing all of their actions. But, you never met Ambassador Varrock. Ambassador Varrock was found dead in a shuttle, believed to have been staged as
in a tub in a
killed by
shuttle.
Klingons. The person you met in Starfleet Intelligence now believes was Agent Tamarek. Who was
It's like a rogue Black Ops
kicked
guy.
out of the Tal Shiar for his extreme methods that put risk to the to Romulan interests.
Tal'Darim or something.
The Romulan Empire apologizes for their interference, and they will not be standing in the way of any further exploration into the Shackleton Expanse.
I want to, though, as a side note, I want to tell the Klingons of how much fucking help Baum was to our science team, and that if they are going to punish him, they should take it just a little easy on him. He was super handy.
He served with honor.
He served with honor.
That. He served with honor by replicating exactly what he fucked up the first time, a second time, so that we could figure it out.
And a note of commendation from a commanding officer, even of a Federation ship, can go a long way in the hearings. So
I give him a
they take
commendation.
notice. And
Commendation.
Do the arm cross chest
at that
thing.
point, you get a call from Captain Temek back at Narendra Station. They're calling the fleet to respond to an emergency. If you the exact star date that we're on now is near the Armagosa Station in the Shackleton Expanse. The Enterprise D has crash landed on a nearby planet, and they want all hands to head over for rescue efforts.
Oh.
And so you head off to your next mission to rescue
the
the survivors of the Enterprise D.
Oh man, if I ever see Picard, I get to tell him I used this maneuver and saved a bunch of people and caught some Romulans.
And that's where we were on the timeline. If things had gotten heated between you and the Romulans, there would have been no help to come because the fleet's been redirected to respond to the crash of the Enterprise. And
I imagine.
so you would have just been like on your own.
Well, we're out in the fucking boonies anyways, and if I
Yeah.
try to send a signal, I imagine they'd have jammed it. So I'm just like, no, it's just the two of us standing there staring at each other in the cold fucking dark of space.
So we reached the end of our episode, Deep Space Deadline.
Fuck.
You found your own inventive solutions to the problems I had presented. Episode took a little longer than I thought, but sometimes our finales need to find the ending that belongs there. And
This was so good, though.
you have
Fuck.
survived an encounter with the Romulans. Everything else was misdirection. All that other stuff. They were, in reality,
Always the
and always
Romulans.
had been, Romulan refugees that had been picked up when they escaped Bajor during the occupation and had been held as prisoners by the Romulans ever since.
Fuck.
Waiting for a day where they could take strike. Now, behind the scenes, maybe we see, like, it pulls away to, like, Sela alone, like, Commander Sela in, like, a shadowy room with her blonde hair. And she's, they saw the Dominion as a real threat. And the Dominion comes through the wormhole from the Gamma Quadrant. So, you end the threat by destroying the wormhole.
yeah.
And they couldn't get anywhere near the wormhole because all travel to the Gamma Quadrant had been suspended. But a group of Bajoran monks that have brought a mysterious lost 10th orb to bring and present to the prophets themselves, well, no one could resist that. And then they would have been able to end the threat to the Alpha Quadrant forever.
If the Klingons hadn't goofed it. Because really, it was the Klingons' fault. That whole plan didn't go off.
Yeah, if you'd found a perfectly intact quantum bomb, maybe there wouldn't have been any cracks in the plan.
Well, we also wouldn't have been studying it. We would have just been transporting it. and
Yeah.
then tossed it in the hole.
Yeah.
If you had waited to go down one of the other, like that Class M planet, or chase the Orion pirates in the first hour, you would have come across the Klingon vessel destroyed in wrecks, and then floating in the debris would have been the orb. And so I had a number of things that would have happened in different positions. As for whatever happened with the Orions, well, I guess you never rescued those people. And as for what happened on the Class M planet, I guess you don't have to deal with any Prime Directive quandaries. You went down the course of the orb conspiracy, so that was kind of fun. And maybe I'll end up using those 2 other stories on a later day. Let's stick around for a quick debrief. I know it's late, and I don't want to get out of here, and we can't really stay here that much later. But thank you for playing this crazy Star Trek game. I felt a little better in this hour with the rules than I had in
This was
the first
fucking
time
cool.
through.
Yeah.
I thought there was some real tension there, and we'll talk.
Somebody farted or a skunk died. What?
I was supposed to say, I think it smells skunk.
We'll break it up we'll break it down in a debrief. If you're a
about it in
Patreon
the
supporter,
debrief.
you can find it at patreon.com/TerribleWarriors. What is the smell in the studio? For now, final thoughts before we say goodbye. I've been the Game Master, Justin Ecock, running Star Trek Adventures with, and you guys also give your last words.
Velvet Duke from the Dandies, playing Lieutenant Lassa Bow.
Conal MacBeth, better known in the nerd community as Toronto's greatest supervillain and evil genius, Dr. Terwat, playing Commander Gavin Schofield.
Brent, the Closet Geek Morris, playing as your helmsman, Ensign Steve Armstrong.
Steve Saylor, a.k.a. the Blind Gamer, playing Lieutenant Commander Adam Munro, the Chief Engineer.
And we'll see you next time on Terrible Wars. I don't know what game we're playing next, but we will continue playing Star Trek Adventures in the Living campaign. It'll probably be released separately from the rest of our Tuesday and Thursday stuff, so just follow on Twitter at Dice Warriors, and we'll let you all know when we find out when we return to this game. The next game we play is The Rescue at Xerxes 6. Xerxes 6 is the name of it, where you will be... it begins with a runabout crash, and you stranded on an alien world with no ship to rely on to get you through this.
God damn it, Ensign.
That's the next time on Star Trek Horizons.
Awesome.
Live long.
God damn it, Ensign! You had one job, and you're smoking runabout all over the place.
Just focused on these puns.
Live long and prosper, except for our ensign.
Take it away, Justin.
And that's it for our first Star Trek Adventures campaign. If you're a Patreon supporter, you can head over to patreon.com/terriblewarriors, where there is a debrief ready for you to listen to right now, as well as pre- and mid-briefs that we recorded before and during the recording of the game. Little behind-the-scenes snippet of what was going on in our heads as we were playing Star Trek Adventures. And on Thursday, we continue our run of finales by wrapping up A Song of Ice and Fire, the very first game ran by Tiff Compton, her very first time as GM, not just on the show, but ever at all. Have a round of applause for Tiff. Good job, Tiff. They too are running out of time with a certain conspiracy and a plan to take out a rival to the throne. Will they succeed, or will history play out as it was intended? All will be revealed on Thursday in A Song of Ice and Fire, Blood and Gold. And on Friday, we have this other thing we're doing, a whole new podcast, a new show for you to subscribe to. It's called The Cambridge Chronicles. It's still Terrible Warriors, it's still part of the Terrible Warrior family, but Mike the Birdman Dodd is playing one game of Dungeons & Dragons called The Cambridge Chronicles with his friends out in Guelph. And rather than load up onto our RSS feed, we decided to give him his own show, his own feed. The first 4 episodes will be available right here at the Terrible Warriors. And after we're done that 4-episode preview, if you want to listen to more of the Cambridge Chronicles, you'll have to go to terriblewarriors.com/Cambridge Chronicles and subscribe to the new podcast. We now have 2 podcasts. So that Cambridge Chronicles episode 3 is on Friday. And at the end of October, when we're done all of our first round of Year 5 campaigns, we have a special Halloween special for you. On October 31st, 1 episode where we play Call of Cthulhu. Mike the Birdman Dodd returns as our GM to the Terrible Warriors to bring his players through a horrifying one-shot story just in time for Halloween. This 1 episode runs about 3 hours. It's a full game, but released all in 1 day. Call of Cthulhu, The Dread Child, on the 31st of October. And for all upcoming games and schedules on the show, head to terriblewarriors.com right now where you can check out the schedule and see what future games we have in store for you. You can follow us on Twitter at Dice Warriors, and you can join us, hang out in our Discord channel. Patreon supporters get access to our studio line where they can listen in on select recordings. As well as that means, head to patreon.com/terriblewarriors where you can support the show. Support of any amount gives you access to our Discord special roles. Today's Terrible Warriors and your crew of Starfleet were Velvet Duke, Conal, MacBeth, Brent, Morris, Steve, Saylor, and Justin Ecock. And until next time, thank you for listening, for sharing, subscribing. Thanks for rating the show. Thanks for buying the games you hear on the show. Thank you for playing those games and rolling those dice, and for becoming Terrible Warriors.